rock.
Jimmy Juice Podcast, man.
Let's go.
Figgy Fig, best in the world, that's what he do, know what I'm talking about. Ryan Rockett, born and raised in the H-Town, Houston, Texas. Know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Let's go in the jacuzzi, smoking threats. I got my feet up. Cut them haters off. I told them beat it. I don't need you. Spent 50 racks in cash, but it's all good. I got my visa. This rolling got them staring at me like the Mona Lisa. My ghetto Nikeisha. I beat it like a creature. She always like my sneakers. These Jordan 5 pink aces. Let's go. I'm knocking them down, baby, back in the row. He really the one. They already know. So all of my chains go put on the show.
Giving out gins, sipping my juice. Counting the beans, addicted to ends. I need it back in on whatever I do. We get it in on the daily. I get it rocking like this with the 80. We really 10 toes down on the pave. What's up? We about to see what they saying.
Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Let's go. Gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Let's go.
Some people call me Tip. Some people call me Tip.
Speaking of which, I'm glad he wasn't in the Freaknik documentary. I don't know if I could take that. Thank goodness T.I. was not invited to the Freaknik documentary, man. I'm very grateful. Thank you, 21 Savage and the other producers, Uncle Luke, everybody who did not invite him. I'm very happy for that.
Yeah.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Gems and Juice podcast. I just noticed we're in vertical mode today, man.
Yeah, man. We shout out to my man Mark Nash, who is in here right now, by the way.
Yeah, what up, Mark?
Yeah, so he actually told me to try it in this mode, and he said he tried it and helped them get some more subscribers and stuff like this. This is very YouTube short friendly.
Okay. Is this on Shorts now or okay?
I want to say it is. I want to say it's on YouTube Shorts now. So
okay. Appreciate the game, Mark. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Watch viewership increase. Mark my words. Okay, we holding you to that, man. We holding you to that, but we appreciate it, man. We say this every week, but we really mean it. It is a action-packed edition of the Gems and Juice podcast today, y'all. A lot to talk about. I don't know if y'all heard, but the internet going nuts with this rap shit right now, man. We got beef once more. You know, at the beginning of the year, we said that 2024 was looking like it was going to be the year of beef.
Yeah.
With the Cat Williams interview that really kicked off everything. And then suddenly everybody was trying to have their Cat Williams moment. Everybody was going on Shannon Sharp's show to air out some 20-year-old beef. And now it's culminating with the biggest names in rap sparking another beef. And we gonna get into it in a little bit, man. We have a lot to break down. Mark says Shannon Sharp. Yeah, Shannon Sharp really did set it off, man. That was the first domino that fell that knocked down every other domino. And now beef is this is a year of beef, man. This is a year of beef officially at this point.
It is. I feel like people putting a name on the bullet too, man. It's not all like, oh, I'm the GOAT and it's this all that stuff. People putting names on the bullet now.
It's time to end the subliminal disses once and for all, man. It is time for we need names, man. I'm sick of the subliminal disses. You got to go to Rap Genius and read this 3 paragraphs of background on what happened. I'm like, I don't know. No.
The worst is when they try to say, oh, Drake said oh, my watch is bigger than this person's house. And then they go back 3 years ago when Kendrick Lamar is talking about how big his house is.
Yeah.
And the stuff where they just piecing stuff. It's like, all right, man. Like, I'm not buying this.
The rap Cold War is over, man. I'm ready for World War III. I'm ready for the World War to pop off, man. I'm sick of the subliminals, the he say, she say. Did he really mean this? Was it a subliminal diss? Nah, man. It's a year to air everything out at this point.
Yeah.
The world is ending soon. So let's just get it off our chest at this point, man.
Yeah.
Mark says he didn't do anything wrong. He just let Cat talk freely. Yeah. But I mean, that's what you get when you let Cat Williams talk freely. Sidebar, I did see Cat Williams. He did appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, and his energy was way different from when he was on. You might not have noticed that he was on Joe Rogan's podcast because none of the clips went viral.
Yeah.
Because he didn't diss anybody.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it was a different vibe on it. It seemed like they was talking about a lot of conspiracies and stuff. Because the only thing that went viral was the one about why do black people like nicotine or something.
Yeah.
Or reports or something like that. That was the only thing that went viral. But I heard that was a pretty good interview.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't drama or messy or nothing, but I heard it was a pretty good interview.
I listened to some of it. I feel like Cat Williams might have gotten a little too high. Maybe I don't think he was used to whatever Joe was smoking on, man. Because it seemed like he was kind of out of it. So that could have been the case too. But yeah, the energy was way different, man. I know. So it was way different, but it is funny that he went on Shannon Sharp's podcast and just it was drama city. Then he gets Joe Rogan, who, by the way, he dissed Joe Rogan in the Shannon Sharp podcast too. They didn't bring that up. But
I forgot about that.
He was talking about Joe Rogan and his unfunny friends and all that. So yeah. Oh yeah, appreciate that, Mark. Hey, everybody, hit the 3 dots in the corner to like the video. Yeah, we're turning into those types of YouTubers now. Okay, like and subscribe. All right, we need our numbers up. I don't care. We're selling out. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Make sure you hit the bell thing for notifications. Do all that. D.O. come. What's going on, man? Good to see you. So yeah, a lot to break down. But first off, a check-in, man. I haven't been tapped into what's going on with the if there's been anything with the Texans or NFL. So what's going on, Figgy? What's going on with you? And if there's anything new to talk about with the Houston Texans and the NFL in general right now?
Nah, I've been kind of slow, man. Little move here and there, but it's kind of slowing down a little bit now. So I think a lot of people they switching over to the draft now. Now the Houston Texans don't have a first round pick. So that kind of sucked the fun out of it. But I think people still high on this team right now. So people kind of looking in the draft now. But yeah, man. I think it been cool though. I think it been good.
Yeah. Looking forward to the draft. I'm looking forward to the NFL season kind of starting to kick off, man. I know the Rockets seem to be, I don't know. I didn't see the win record yet, but I saw Jalen 7 in a row. Really? Okay.
Yeah, and Jalen Green been playing like the rent dude, man. Like he he feed.
I saw the post game interview where he was talking to
Vanessa Richards.
Vanessa Richards, and he mentioned the dog. I thought she was laughing. It looked like she was laughing at him when he gave that answer because she knew. He was like, "My wife, my kid." Like, what motivates you? What's got you going these past few games?
My family, my baby, or something.
Yeah, my family, my baby, my girl. It's like, oh man. But hey, look, man. If this motivates him, then I'm for it. If this ends up with him being a better player somehow against all odds, I'm for it.
Yeah, he need to have another one, man. He should be planning for another kid.
Hey, go hit up Brittany Renner. just have a bunch of kids with the biggest hoes in the game. If this is what it takes for you to play at a high level, man, I'm down with it.
Yeah, no, I'm down with it too, man. He should have got with her a long time ago, man.
Hey, see what Superhead been up to, man. I ain't heard from her lately. What's she doing? Save them all, man. I don't care. Do it. Hit up Lisa. I don't care. Lisa Ann, come through. Hey, hit up everybody, man. Do what you got to do if it keeps you playing at a high level. I'm down with it.
We need to do a study on these young cats messing with these old Cougars just to see how they numbers look, man. If they numbers doing all right, man, I see why they messing with them.
Yeah. I'm down with it, man. I'm down with it. So, not much going on. I know U of H plays tonight. They're playing who? The Longwood Lancers.
Longwood, pause.
In the tournament. Yeah, pause. I was at the gym. I did see the end of the Kentucky and Oakland game.
Woo.
Kentucky got knocked out very first round, very first game.
Screwed up everybody bracket, man.
Yeah, brackets are done now. Brackets are cooked. Figgy, do you think this is going to be the end of Calipari in Kentucky?
I don't think so right now, but it should be, man. What has he done the last couple years, man? I don't think he's been in the big game since 2015. And yeah, man, I think it's about time to start having that conversation, man, because this loss was an embarrassing loss, man. Like, dog, I thought this college was in California. This college is in Detroit. Oakland University in Detroit.
Yeah, it tripped me out because all the players were looked like they were white. And I'm like, is this Oakland? Is this a real Oakland?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's a college. It's a university outside. I think it's right outside of Auburn Hills. So it's in Michigan. So I'm like, man, I don't know, man. It's time to start having that conversation if they need to move on or they give him another year. What? I don't know how it is with recruiting and if he getting some top-notch players, but this was embarrassing and it screwed everybody up.
Yeah, nah, that's crazy, man. We'll see. I think this is no country for old coaches, man. I think this is the new generation. These old coaches are retiring or stepping out or being forced out the game. I think it's about his time, man. This is an embarrassing loss for them. And yeah, they're gonna make some changes, I'm sure. I know Juwan Howard's already out at Michigan. He done ruined the whole program. So
yeah, I was a little disappointed at that, man. I was just like, dang, I remember when he got the job. I'm like, all right, man, somebody that played there, black man, dog, he ain't do squat, man.
He slapped somebody, which was hilarious, and I thought it was gonna be all up from there. That was really the downfall. It was all downhill after that.
Nah, it was.
Will Smith, Juwan Howard, both of them had devastating consequences to their slaps.
Yeah.
I got to address this. Mark Nash just sent a comment on YouTube. Mark Nash TV on YouTube said, Ryan, somebody said you look like Chance the Rapper without the hat. Okay, by somebody. Who is it somebody, man? I feel like it was you. Because I use that a lot too. Hey, man, somebody said you look like Goldberg. Like a fat version of Goldberg or something, man. Yeah, nah. Okay.
That's the first time I heard that about you, man. Because remember, the ones you usually get. I think you said somebody said you look like Jared Jack.
Yeah. That one bothered me because he actually does look like me. Yeah, there was a dude at Sports Radio 610 when I was a producer on I forget what show I was doing. I was training somebody, and he thought I was like part of the show. And
oh,
he's
really?
Like, man, he's like, I thought you were an athlete. I thought you were Jared Jack. I was like,
oh my God, man.
I'm like, that bothered me because he does look like me, man. I can't even deny it. That's the thing that hurts. Sometimes you hear something, it's like, man, that don't even make no sense. But
Yeah.
sometimes you hear something like that and it actually rings true, like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even hold that. I had to hold that, man, because he does look like me.
Man.
But Mark also asked, when are y'all dropping that Gems and Juice merch? We've had a few things We've had some hoodies and shirts and whatnot. We need to be cooking again, man. We gotta look into that.
Yeah,
Definitely get
yeah.
some
I'm,
merch
I'm
happening.
I'm moving around a little more, so I'm gonna work on some stuff, man. I gotta use these relationships I got and create some stuff, man. So we got some stuff coming soon, man.
Yeah. My mom has texted me. She's watching the show, I guess. She said she reminded me of that Prince thing. When oh yeah, because I remember I talked to Prince on Twitter and I said Prince looked like Walona from Good Times in his picture he posted, and then he DM'd me and said your mama look like JJ or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah.
I remember that too.
Classic moment, man. That's something I'll treasure forever, getting dissed by Prince on Twitter.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. We're gonna talk about Prince a little bit, or we're gonna bring him up a little bit later once we start talking about this beef.
yeah. Oh, from Mark Nash. Mark Nash, if you didn't hear, I told a story on the podcast basically a long time ago. Well, not that long. I want to say like 2014, 2015. I did screenshot it, but Prince was on Twitter and he had a band by the name of New Girl or something like that. And there was some kind of a story he posted. And this is back old Twitter, man. This is not new Twitter. This is old Twitter where everybody was just getting jokes off nonstop, man. It wasn't like a professional platform at this point. People weren't getting triggered. It was just all jokes. And so Prince posted the account that Prince posted this story, and this he had this big blown out afro, and he looked like Prince, but the afro just looked really funny. So I quote tweeted the tweet and said, why you look like Walona from Good Times here? Not thinking that Prince would actually respond or that he was even posting these tweets. But he DM'd me. And this is back when if you didn't follow somebody, you couldn't DM them back. So I couldn't even say nothing back. And he said, true, but why your mama look like JJ from Good Times? So yeah, I had to hold that. And he eventually said he was just kidding. It was all love. But yeah, man, I had no idea that Prince was even operating that Twitter. But it was the way it was written. I'm like, yeah, Prince wrote this, man. It couldn't be he just has a weird way of writing, man. I couldn't imagine an assistant or somebody actually writing that tweet.
That for you, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was back when Twitter was the Wild West and people actually tweeted a whole lot. So
yeah, that's a legendary moment, man.
It was, man. Highlight of my life.
That's one of everybody got them weird Prince stories where they be like, yeah, he walked in and he just floated in. And then I turned around and looked, he was gone.
Yeah, Prince was crazy, man. He would just show up at places and play. Nobody knew he was coming and do like a 4-hour set and then just leave. Like he was just a wild person, man. So, and like you said, we will address that because his name did come up in a beef. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to the topics. And Mark, yeah, we appreciate it, man. Now, we're not getting distracted by you, man. We appreciate all the feedback, but we're gonna stay on topic. We usually do a lot of sidebars anyway. When we do this podcast, it's kind of our thing. So we distracted a whole lot, but we do stay on topic for the most part. At least we try to. Anyway, it's time to get to new music. And for the first time, and I want to say maybe this whole year, we actually had an album we listened to front to back. We actually sat and listened, both of us listened to a whole album at the same time. And I'm actually going to react to it.
I ain't gonna lie, I was expecting you not to listen to this because I felt like you've kind of been off the Future bandwagon for a minute. And I'm thinking like, man, ain't no coming back, man. He probably gonna just get the highlights of it and that's it. Well, I'm shocked you listened to the whole album.
Man, I did. And look, to be honest, I was intrigued when I heard it was Metro Boomin and Future. You know, if this was just a regular Future album, I would have been like, eh. But him linking back up, and it's been a long time since they did a whole project together. Yeah. So, and I think Metro Boomin is a better producer now than he was back then when he was first working with Future. So I like the stuff he did with 21 Savage, the Savage Mode 2 and all that. And I was excited for this album when I heard it was coming. So I actually was looking forward to it, man. But I did not expect the drama that would come with it. But let's start off first by just talking about the music and the album itself, and we will get into the lyrics and the disses and whatnot in a bit. But this album is, I want to say, how many tracks is it? It is 17 tracks.
Yep.
Now the track list had no features listed when it first leaked. There were no features on this album. It looked like.
Yeah.
That was misdirection, deception, lie, bamboozle, led astray, run amok. We were lied to because there were quite a few features on this album.
Yeah.
We have The Weeknd. We have Playboy Cardi and Travis Scott. We have Kendrick Lamar. We have Rick Ross. And that's about it. But there are some prominent features on this album. And maybe they kept it hidden because they know that seeing Kendrick there, plus the fact that Metro Boomin, who has beef with Drake that we know, maybe they wanted to keep that whole thing a surprise.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about the actual content of the album first. And Figgy, you heard this album. What do you think of the Future and Metro Boomin "We Don't Trust You" album?
So before the album dropped, they've been kind of teasing some of the stuff on the album as far as like what's on there. And this is probably one of my favorite interviews of all time now, man. The Prodigy interview when he was in the car, he was just like, man, all these whack ass rappers, man. He went on for like 7 minutes talking about how it's so many trash rappers. And then he started naming Dipset and Cameron and people like that. Man, at the time, my heart was broken, man, because I love Mobb Deep and I was a Dipset fan too. So I was just like, oh, I was like, why is he doing this? But now, like in 2024, that was one of my favorite moments, man. I felt like that clip was a little bit ahead of his time, and it's like it's timeless. And that kind of made me excited. I was a little excited when I seen that they were using that clip throughout the album. So when I played track 1, and I was just like, damn, he's talking about somebody. And you know, that somebody was clearly Drake. And I was actually shocked because I never heard anything like that from Future. I never thought Future would be doing something like that, but you could tell it seemed really personal for track 1. And I actually liked it, man. I thought it was kind of clever. I ain't gonna go track by track, but I think it was solid, man. I really like Metro Boomin production, man. I feel like he grown a lot. Pause. I think I don't know. I had to.
Okay, we gotta peel back on the pause, man.
Yeah.
I know we're Cameron and maced out.
Yeah.
We gotta fall back on pause, man. We're grown men. We ain't gotta say pause after everything at this point.
Yeah. I feel like his music, like his, I don't know, his beats got way more mature now, man. He got a lot of sampling in there. He's sampling stuff where I'm like, oh shit, what he about to do with this? And a lot of this stuff sounds super clever, man. I like a couple songs I like Type Shit. I thought Type Shit was I thought that was a dope song. And I was looking, I don't know how true this is, but I seen somebody saying that could have been a shot at or this at 21 Savage, because I guess 21 Savage always say type shit. So I don't know if that's true or not. It could be people just trying to make shit up and piece shit together. But yeah, we'll get to the B part later. But I liked a lot of these songs, man. It was only a couple I switched, but not really, man. I really let this album ride, and I like um I like Running Out of Time. I like the Magic Don Juan. Um, the production on here was I really enjoyed this production, man. To me, I felt like towards the end of the album, it got kind of strong, and at that point, I'm usually you don't get that. Usually towards the end, it kind of get a little weak, but I felt like I want to say from Fried all the way to Seeing It All. I felt like it was strong. I'm just like, damn, this album getting strong. I didn't like the last two tracks, but everything, it seemed like he was in rap mode, man. It wasn't no emo Future. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed this album. It was something else I meant to say about this. What song was it? I can't remember what song it is, but I'll get to it later. But I enjoyed this album a lot, man. I'll probably go back to this album.
Yeah, me too, man. And look, it had been a while since Future had dropped. I wasn't a huge fan of that last album. I did think he was starting to coast. He was starting to mail it in lyrically, is in flow wise. It just seemed like he was just, you knew what you expect when you hear a Future song. On this album, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like he was very inspired, man. I feel like he came with it, and maybe it's the beef part of it that that kind of made him more creative and made him take it more seriously. But lyrically, I felt like he was on point, man. Flow wise, he was riding every beat. There was really little to no singing at all, which was great. I was very happy to hear that a mainly rap album from Future. And yeah, the production was great, man. Like I said already, Metro has grown a whole lot, and he was already a good producer to begin with. He was already a great producer, but he's gotten even better. It was great to hear them link up. They have great chemistry still, even after all this time. And the features made sense for the most part. I gotta talk about Playboy Cardi, man. This new voice he has. We have to have an intervention about Playboy Cardi, man.
What song was he on? What
he was on? What's that was called? It was like they just dropped a video for it too. Type Shit. Yeah, you talk about Type Shit.
Okay.
Travis Scott was on it, but he was like barely on it. He kind of sang a little bit. You could barely. Until I saw the video, I didn't even know which part was his.
Yeah, I totally missed it.
But he's in the video. And Playboy Cardi is in the video too. This new flow he got going, I just don't know about it, man. This new voice, it sounds like a mix of Young Thug and Young Nudie. I just don't know what he's doing. Now, part of me hopes that he's kind of doing us for the, kind of playing us, and then he's gonna, when the album drops, it's not gonna sound like this, because I remember a few years back, before A Whole Lot of Red dropped, he was doing his baby voice. And everybody was scared that the next album was going to have the baby voice, Playboy Cardi, but he didn't have that voice. So maybe he's just throwing us for a loop here, and it's not going to sound like this. But this new voice from Playboy Cardi, I don't like it, man. His flow is just, I don't like it, man. I hope he switches it up. Maybe he's experimenting with something. He goes back to something else. But I don't like this new voice, Playboy Cardi. I have to say, he's ruining these songs, man. I'm kind of getting sick of it,
man.
But that aside, that was it. Like Type Shit was a good song though. I like pretty much every song. I was listening at the gym, so I ran back Slimed In like 10 times. Man, that song is super hard.
Yeah, I liked how he sampled Young Thug in there too.
Yeah,
like I was waiting on Young Thug. I was getting hyped. I thought that was.
I was hoping there was going to be a Young Thug verse. Unfortunately, there wasn't.
Yeah, but I think they did that right. I thought that was creative, man.
Yeah.
it sounded like it was maybe an unfinished song that Young Thug had, and he just kind of added that little intro or something throughout the song or through the hook or something. I thought that was hard.
I like that song a lot, man. It got me through a whole workout. I had that shit on repeat. I don't know if I'm the only one, but sometimes when I hear an album and I hear one song I like, I can't move past it, man.
Yeah. I did it with Young Thug album when that song Hot with Gunna.
Yep.
And this was before it blew up. This was before it was on the radio, but I was listening to Young Thug out. I got to that song, didn't even finish the album. Still to this day, I'd never finished the album. I got stuck on that song, man. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, this song is hard, man. I'm like, man, I never finished the album, man.
You should go back. That album is actually really good, man. I like it. I still go back to it sometimes.
I'm gonna go back to it, but man, I never like that day it dropped. I got to that song. I did not skip it, man.
Then they dropped the remix later with J. Cole and everything. Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, that song when that song first hit, that was one of those songs, man. That was like one of those sicko mode moments, one of those type songs where you just had to play it all day.
Yeah, no, that song was hard, man. I'm like, damn, that beat was hard. Everybody had a good verse on there. I think the remix had Travis Scott on there, but yeah, man, no, that I did not get past. I did not finish that album after that song, man.
Yeah, that song is incredible, man. Now back to this album. There's a couple songs I could have done without. I didn't like Fried. I could have gone without that. The last two songs, like you said, What the Fuck You Mean and Where My Twin, yeah. I could have went without them too, man. I think the last one was like a bonus track, but they could have saved this for like a deluxe edition. They could have kept it off the regular one because I really didn't need it. But all in all, man, I thought this album was a great return for Future and Metro Boomin, continuing to do his best work right now. I'm excited. I like it a whole lot, man. I'm back on the Future bandwagon officially. I jumped off for a little bit. Now I'm back on.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to. I hope they do another album, man. I hope they drop again this year. Shoot, it seems like they got the juices flowing. Pause. No more pause. No more pause. I'm gonna stop. But if they're feeling creative and they got a lot to say and they want to make more music, I'm definitely down to hear more, man.
Yeah. And the songs I was thinking about was Everyday Hustle and Seen It All. Those, like the way those samples went, man, I was just like, holy like damn, like that's why I'm like Metro on this bag on this one, man. Yeah. This ain't just no regular trap stuff. Like it was a real sample in Everyday Hustle, and then Seen It All. That was a Mobb Deep sample. Or was it Quiet Storm? Was it Quiet Storm?
Yeah, Quiet Storm.
Yeah, they sampled Quiet Storm. I'm like, oh man. And plus, just hearing Prodigy all throughout the album.
Yeah,
that was hard, man. I feel like the old heads would kind of think it's a little weird because it's like Prodigy talking about all these whack rappers and Future in that category as a whack rapper. And hell, shoot, Prodigy probably put him in that category if we're being real. But I like that, man. I thought that was dope. I thought that was dope paying homage to Prodigy like that.
Yeah, plus I think that was honestly how they feel about a lot of these rappers too, man. And with that being said, now let's get into the chatty patty part. Okay, it's time to address the beef. It's time to address the subliminals. We need a drop of Dame Dash saying chatty patty. Chatty patty. To be honest, most of this podcast is chatty patty stuff anyway. But sometimes we get extra chatty patty with some of these topics, man. So we got to have Dame Dash saying chatty patty.
Yeah.
But it's time to address the beef and the disses that came from this album. First off, everybody first took notice of the Kendrick diss in the song. But what was most surprising to me was the revelation that Future and Drake have beef. Because I don't think any of us saw this coming. I thought they were still cool. Drake did drop that What Would Pluto Do song on his last album, which I thought was a shout out. But now I'm wondering, was that a subliminal diss in disguise? Was he being sarcastic? I don't know. But when you first hear this album, first off, the album being called We Don't Trust You kind of sets off some alarms. But then the first thing you see, the first words you hear on this album are fake written all over you. hate written all over you.
Yeah.
Then you hear that Undisputed Truth Smiling Faces sample. Smiling faces sometimes. That shit. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they got something to say. We already knew Metro had beef with Drake. And if y'all didn't know about that, basically, Metro went on a tweet spree hating on the Her Loss album. And he was saying that his album should have got the awards that album got. And Drake did a interview. He was doing an IG live or something. And at the end of it, he basically sent out a shot at Metro Boomin, talking about, you tweeting the leaders, because he deleted the tweet. You tweeting the leaders, you something. Basically, he was just throwing shots at Metro Boomin, and everybody knew what it was.
Yeah.
So we know they have beef, but we did not know Future and Drake fell off at some point.
Yeah.
So we get into that song a little bit more, and what does he say? The second verse is when, at the beginning you could kind of go through and be like, yeah, who knows? It could be anybody.
Yeah.
The second verse is what really sets off the fact that he's talking about Drake.
Yeah.
He says, you a nigga number one fan, dog. Sneak dissing, I don't understand, dog. Pillow talking, acting like a fed, dog. I don't need another fake friend, dog. Can't be a hoe because we sharing, dog. And he goes on, in your feelings, nigga, while you playing, dog. Give her black. Like, see, there's a lot of subliminal messages talking about Drake, and you can tell he's talking about Drake with the in your feelings shot too. So
yeah, and he keeps saying the dog because Drake got the album
for all the dogs. So yeah, he's calling Drake a fake friend at this point. He's saying pillow talking. Maybe I'm assuming something happened with a girl. We have to assume it was something like that.
Yeah, that's the rumor. It said they could have had a feud over a girl. Maybe Drake took Future girl or vice versa, or something like that.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like that. I mean, that's the start of like a lot of beefs, man. That's really what Jay and Nas was over.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw somebody say something like, man, you mean to tell me they doing this all over a girl? And I'm like, man, I didn't see dudes get killed over girls, man. I seen people shoot somebody over a girl, man. I done seen it all. I used to be cool with somebody who I guess he found out his baby mother was messing with some dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to try to put a hit on the dude, try to kill the dude. And he ended up going to jail, man. And the girl ended up with somebody else. So it's just like, man, this is nothing new, man. It ain't even shocking to me.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, back then it was surprising to hear that Jay and Nas really beefed over Nas's ex-girl. But now that I'm grown, it makes sense. You see this a whole lot in real life, man. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. This is usually how a lot of beef starts.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's not about, I mean, even though we saying this about the girl, they started to be, but sometimes it could be a little deeper than that. It's more about, the principle. It's not about, oh, I love this girl so much and can't believe you did this. It's more about disrespect. Like, this is my girl, and you trying to talk to my girl, you trying to talk to a girl I'm talking to or something like that. And the pillow talking could easily be some what you call it? Damn. I was gonna say kind of side talking a little bit, like down talking to a homie to get the girl. It could be something like that. So
it could be, man, or maybe something was said to a woman that got back to the original person.
Yeah, dirty macking. I was looking for the word dirty macking.
Dirty macking. Yep, dirty macking. It could be a case of dirty macking, man. Maybe there was some plotting behind people's backs, and yeah, people slid in. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Drake is known for this because I remember back in the day, Lil Wayne admitted that when he was in jail, Drake smashed one of his girls. This happened this is like 10 plus years ago, man. And yeah, so he's been kind of known for this kind of thing, man. And Lil Wayne didn't care, obviously, but some people do care and they take that more seriously. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's all speculation at this point, man. We don't know. And unless somebody says it who's involved in this, we're not going to know. Maybe Joe Budden, who has insider information, he could enlighten us on this shit. But basically, we just don't know yet.
Yeah, and Joe Budden been kind of bringing this up. He brought it up a couple weeks ago. How he was wondering if Future and Drake is on the same page because remember, I guess it was reportedly they was trying to do another album together.
I remember that,
and for some reason it didn't happen. And then he dropped the album with 21 Savage, which kind of changed some things. And that kind, I guess that kind of makes sense why Metro Boomin was a little pissed because, I mean, I'm guessing his album because I got to go back to that album. I heard that album was really good. His album that probably should have
Heroes and Villains. Yeah, I haven't heard it yet, but I heard it was good.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was better than Her Loss because there was a couple things on Her Loss, but I'm guessing that song. I mean, his album was better than that. So it's probably a lot going on, man. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of pillow talking, and all that.
Yeah, and like I said, we're just not going to know these things unless somebody involved or who knows about it. All we can do is speculate, man, and pick apart lyrics and try to figure out what happened. And I'm getting sick of this. Okay, somebody just needs to come out and say what happened.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's the most surprising thing to me, honestly, is that the Future and Drake have fallen out and have beef now. Because I thought they was always cool, really since the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess that's over now, man. I guess no more. There's not going to be what was that album called?
What a Time to Be Alive.
To Be Alive. What a corny name too, man. That was like one of those funny things to say way back.
What a time to be alive.
To be alive. Star Wars just came out. Like it was people like there was always something stupid. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings on the same day. What a time to be alive. Like nigga, what? So yeah, man. Yeah, so I guess that relationship is over. But now the main event, what everybody's been talking about on social media, is the Kendrick verse on the song Like That.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we already established that Metro and Future have beef with Drake at this point. They bring in a third party. It's a triple threat match at this point, man. They're bringing in a third man. And it is Kendrick. We get to his verse, and let's skip to what he had to say. He said, I'm trying to find this damn verse. All right. Let me get to he said, these niggas talking out their necks. Don't pull no coffin out your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say it's a lot of goofies with a check. I mean, I hope them sentiments symbolic. I'm my temperament bipolar. I choose violence. I'm trying to get to the damn disc. Where is it?
The next line.
Okay.
Niggas up, but can't be legit. No 40 water. Tell
yeah. Niggas clicking up, but can't be legit. No 40 water. Tell them. Oh yeah, I hate that moaning shit he does in the verse too, man. He said, okay, here we go to the actual diss. He said, fuck sneak dissing, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap, diss Melly Mel if I had to. Got 2 T's with me. I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. Is up. Lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location? I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3, nigga. It's just big me. Nigga bum what? I'm really like that. And your best work is a like pack. Nigga Prince outlived Mike Jack. Nigga bum for all your dogs getting buried. That's a K with all these 9s. He gonna see Pet Cemetery. So there's a shot at the first person shooter song, a shot at the For All My Dogs album, and a shot at Drake calling himself Michael Jackson in that song.
And then even a shot, they clicking up, but can't be legit, pretty much. Talking about Drake and J. Cole clicking up.
Yeah. So J. Cole, who seemed to be trying to mend the fence here, ended up getting stray shots and he got caught in the crossfire, man. You know, it was interesting because when first person shooter came out, you know, I was wondering if this could be like the bridge to finally getting a song between Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole, which you've never had.
Yeah.
But now it's obvious it's never going to happen at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it happen. I've been seeing a whole bunch of clips because a lot of people, you know, they digging and saying, "Oh, this is where it started." It seemed like, and don't get me wrong, this is rap beef. This ain't nothing. I don't think it's nothing personal, but I seen a lot of videos of Drake. Like, I think Drake had an interview with Elliot Wilson, and Drake was kind of clowning Kendrick a little bit.
Yeah.
And you could tell he respect him and all that stuff, but clearly it was competition. You could tell it was competition, and even a couple songs Drake had when he was kind of joking around like, "Nigga, I'm Mike. One more #1 album, I'm Mike," or something like that. And so I think that was the reason Kendrick said Prince outlived Mike Jack. And a lot of people, I seen a couple people talking about if he said that, he's clearly saying he's Drake is better than him. And I'm just like, man, I think it's a little deeper than that, man. Because yeah, we look at Michael Jackson as the greatest of all time, but we look at Prince as that dude, man. That dude that's a little deeper than Michael Jackson. And we all know I love Mike, but you know, he had a lot of writers, man. He had a lot of people behind him. Prince was actually writing his own songs. He was doing a lot on his own, man. He was, and he kind of got I don't want to disrespect. Never mind. I ain't gonna disrespect Prince, but I was gonna say Kendrick kind of got like a little Prince type of feel to him as far as hip hop, where he experimental. He do whatever he wants. He's not playing this whole big game of I gotta get a #1 hit or focused on that type of stuff. He's just making whatever he feels. So yeah, so that's what I got from that line too.
Yeah, I mean, the main difference is that Prince dropped a lot of music in his life, and Kendrick wants to take long breaks. But that being said, I do think people do see Kendrick as the creative, experimental guy, and Drake as the mainstream success. He has a formula, he sticks to it type guy who just wants the sales, the numbers, the placements, and all that. That's his goal. Yes. So they are kind of alike in that regard, but yeah, they've been going back and forth for a long time now at this point. The first person shooter song, I didn't think that was a diss to Kendrick. I have to be honest. I guess Kendrick was just he felt insulted that his name was even brought up with them. It seems like.
Yeah,
because I didn't see that song as a diss. You know, to your point, Drake has been dissing and clowning Kendrick subliminally for a while now, and Kendrick has been doing the same. But that song in particular, I didn't see it as when J. Cole mentioned the big three is Drake, K. Dot, and me.
Yeah,
that wasn't saying, you know, that was not a diss.
Yeah. Yeah, it got me looking at that song now. Like, did he say something that kind of offended Kendrick? Because they've been kind of, like I said, it'd be little small shots that we probably don't even know that been going on back and forth for years. But I'm like, is this the song that did it? I don't understand, because I feel like Kendrick could have did this a long time ago.
It could. I mean, the only thing that could be construed as that is maybe Drake's verse in the beginning when he says who to goat. He only mentions Drake himself and J. Cole in that who to goat type scenario, and everybody knows Kendrick is there too, man. Really, it really is more Kendrick and Drake. I think it's kind of a struggle even adding J. Cole in there, but I can accept him being in there too. You know, I don't know anybody who has J. Cole as their GOAT. I'll be honest. I don't think even Jasmine has him as her GOAT. But I don't know, man. But so maybe that's what he was defensive about. But look, man, I gotta say, I'm here for this beef. I think it's time for them to settle it once and for all. If we're not going to get any kind of reunion, I want to see the battle royale. All right. I want to see them go at each other. I'm not saying pause anymore, okay? But I want to see, I want to hear it, man. It's enough. It's been 10, 15 years of this subliminal dissing and going back and forth. And oh, you got to hear what he said here. And he's talking about this that happened in 5. Nah, man. This might be the last great rap beef we'll ever have.
Yeah.
Think about it, man, because we talk about it all the time on the podcast. Who's next after Drake? Who's next after Kendrick? Who's next after J. Cole?
Yeah.
Who else is going to be on that level to have a big rap beef, man?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the debate about who's the next face of the NBA, except it's way worse because at least with the NBA, you can bring up like 3 or 4 names that could be it. In rap, there's really nobody, man. Who's the next Drake in rap?
It's the same names from 15 years ago.
Exactly. People who are on their way out too.
Yep.
So there's, as far as rap beef goes, big rap beef that gets everybody interested. This is the last of it, man. The 3 biggest rappers going, they got to issue with each other. We got to have the beef official, man. Everybody got to do their own diss track, and we hear who comes out the winner.
Yeah, and I think this one could be a little difficult for. I don't know if it'd be difficult for Cole, but somebody like a Drake, because this ain't no messy drama where you dig up who he been sleeping with and all the dirt you got on them. I don't know if anybody got dirt on Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I don't even think he'd be outside. But one thing I like about this beef is it's strictly hip hop, man. This is for, hey, I'm better than y'all. What y'all gonna do about it? This ain't no Pusha T beef with all this other stuff. And I was fine with that beef too. But this is strictly for the crown, man. And I like this. I want to hear what Drake got to say about the crown. I want to hear about these girls. And I know Future did the same. If Future did this, he dissed them too. But I want to hear about no girls and what you did behind the scenes and all this other stuff. And you're a sucker and all that. Nah, this is for the crown, man. Like, we've been talking about it for years. Who's better? Kendrick, J. Cole, or Drake? And I think by numbers, I think Drake was the number 1 person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I'm glad J. Cole finally put a name on the not J. Cole, but Kendrick finally put a name on the bullet. Because I was tired of all this other subliminals and all that stuff. Put the name on the bullet and see what else somebody got to say. So I like that, man.
I do, but I just don't want it to die here, man. Because I remember when he dropped Control, and he went at Drake on that song too, man. Nothing was the same. Some sensitive rapper, all that stuff. There were shots at Drake there, but then nothing really happened, man. I don't want to see Control Part 2 here. Everybody respond. Remember, everybody had their response to Control, but it was like Papoose and Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah, Ryder.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Random ass rappers had to respond to Control, and like nobody who was at the top of the game at that point had anything to say. Drake didn't have nothing to say.
Yeah, the people that he named didn't say anything. And I think because I've been seeing it all today too. I think the issue is Drake and people like that was responding, but it was more subliminals.
Yeah,
and so we probably heard it and didn't even know. So it's like I want you. Like, I ain't saying you got to make a whole song dedicated to him because Kendrick just did a verse, but if you hop on somebody else's song, I want to hear what you got to say. Put a name on that bullet, man. Like, I don't want to hear all that, rappers thinking they goats, but they really a no or something like that, man. Like, no, put the name, address it, man. Address the elephant in the room.
I agree, man. I think J. Cole will be the first to respond because he's just a rapper like that, man. I think I don't think if he comes at Kendrick, I don't think it's going to be vicious, I think he'll keep it with rap. He'll keep it rappity rap,
Yeah.
Drake is different, man. I think Drake is very petty. Drake will try to dig up things about Kendrick. The thing about Drake, he needs to sit with this one for a while, man, because I feel like the biggest mistake he made in the Pusha T diss was he got baited into sending something out really quick, and he
Yep.
didn't really think about what could this guy say back to me, and
Yeah.
then it was really bad when Pusha T responded.
Yeah.
So look, Drake is 1-1 in rap beef right now. He beat Meek Mill, lost to Pusha T. He can't go on a losing streak, man. He's got to win this next one. He's got Future and Kendrick going at him right now.
Yeah.
He's got to say something, and it can't be weak.
Yeah. And I think too, I think with Drake, first of all, he got a lot going on, man, because shoot, he got this by Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
Oh man, he did.
He got a lot of people dissing him. So I think he should take his time. But yeah, I agree with you. I think with the Pusha T thing, he probably thought he was going to pull a Meek Mill and just, hey, let me just drop this and it's over. But Pusha T is way more calculated than Meek Mill. And now that we look back then, that was awful, man, with Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I thought Meek Mill could possibly beat Drake.
Mm-hmm.
But Pusha T is way more calculated, and he knew what he was doing, man. He knew once Drake respond with something, then I'm going to hit him with this, and it's over. So I think Kendrick is the same way. I don't think Kendrick would do something like this and not be prepared and have to start from scratch if Drake or J. Cole or anybody drops something. So I think he's very calculated right now with this, and he's just sitting back to see if somebody else make the next move.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it results in something, man, because I'm ready for it. They've got to settle this, man. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of subliminals. We got to settle this once and for all. Look, this, like I said, this might be the last great rap beef we ever have, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else having beef that I would be interested in hearing.
Yeah.
So it has to be them, and the last of the rapidy rappers, it's got to be them, man. And they got to duke it out and see who's the best, and we'll decide. But I think this is something that doesn't really favor Drake at this point, because Drake is somebody you can look at the numbers and say he's the best of all time, but I don't think most hip hop fans will say lyrically he's the best. They really can't, man. I think it bothers him that he'll never have that crown from the hip hop heads. He's very conscious of that. He wants to be known as the best rapper, period, not just the best selling rapper.
Yeah.
So he's got to be more calculated this time, man. He's got to come with something that's not corny, and we'll see. I'm sure he'll have something to say. But I don't want to hear subliminals and, I know he's not going to name nobody because he doesn't put names in songs, but we've got to know what it is when he's talking about it.
Yeah.
When he comes out with his next, whenever he drops his response. So I can wait, but I don't want to wait too long, man. I don't want to wait too long. It's got to be this year. He's got to drop something. J. Cole got to drop something. And we got to compare and contrast.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long this would take, because this, to me, like I said, this seemed like more of a rapidy rap friendly. I don't want to call it friendly, but this is more of a rap friendly rap beef where you don't have to respond ASAP. It's not like they calling you out on some Fugazi type stuff where you got to go out there and defend yourself. I feel like they could kind of sit back a little bit and wait for the right time, wait for summertime or later this year to, drop on somebody's album or somebody's verse and response. But like I said, with the whole Pusha T thing, I felt like he had to respond, and the second time, and fortunately that came to a halt. But yeah, I'm kind of curious how I guess how long it'd take for him to even make a response.
I don't know, man. I think he's going to take his time with this one. I think he's got to look deep into his writing camp and
Yeah,
say, "Hey guys, you got to have a huddle." Be like, "All right, I need background information on Kendrick's gang affiliation. Was he really a shooter like that? We got to find something embarrassing from wherever he's from." And I don't know. He's gonna have the investigation squad do a full sweep because apparently this is what he was trying to do with Pusha T.
yeah,
I mean, he admitted this. He was trying to dig up dirt on Pusha T, but then he realized nobody really cared about his life.
yeah,
He's like, nothing he could say about Pusha T would equal to Drake having a kid and trying to hide it.
yeah. Having a kid with a porn star.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So he realized that. But I mean, dirt about Kendrick could be substantial because that's one of the bigger, he's way bigger than Pusha T. So
yeah.
I personally don't care if it goes there, but if it's entertaining, I'll entertain anything. So
Yeah. How did you feel overall about Kendrick verse?
I mean, his flow just annoys me at times, man. That high pitched thing, b- lyrically, I thought it was good. It was entertaining that it had beef, but Kendrick is just hit or miss with his flow with me, man. And this one was just like, I wasn't really feeling it. The voice and all that is like, I know he's an acquired taste, and you know it just is what it is with him. He always got to be artsy with his flow, man. He always got to be. I don't even want to say Andre 3000 like because Andre 3000 always sounded good, man.
Yeah, he always had a cool voice, and he never. I feel like he never did no weird stuff, and the stuff people consider weird during that time was the Love Below.
Yeah,
Oh, he sounded amazing on there.
he had some verses where he did some weird stuff with his voice, like the that Slim Calhoun song. It's okay. He had a guest verse on that song, and he had but it still sounded good, man.
Yeah,
So, but Kendrick is just, I don't know. He's all over the place with the flow sometimes, man. And this one, I thought it was okay, but it didn't really do a whole lot for me, man. Kendrick is just kind of, he's Kendrick, man. He's always got to be over the top with his flow and delivery and cadence. So,
yeah,
but I did like the song overall, though, man. I thought it was good. The 3 6 Mafia sample was good. I liked the song, period. So, yeah, it was a good song in general.
yeah.
So I think that about does it covering the beef, man. So your prediction, number one, Figgy, we gonna call it right now. Who is gonna respond first, and when will they respond? And do you think?
I think. See, I was gonna say J. Cole was gonna respond first, but I've been trying to keep an eye out on people's schedules, man, because I know he got a. I think J. Cole working on some music now, but he's also getting ready for his festival. His I forgot what his festival called, but he's getting ready for his festival. So I don't know if he just gonna set aside some time and just write a response. But I would probably, you know what, I'm gonna say J. Cole. I think J. Cole will be the first one to address him. And I think the good thing is, like I said, Kendrick is doing it for the sport. He's claiming that crown for the sport. It's nothing personal or anything like that. I think J. Cole will return the favor, try to return the jabs for the love of the sport. I just don't see Drake doing it for the love of the sport, man. It seemed like I think he would have back in the day, but it seemed like he just so far gone, no pun intended, where he just, I just don't see Drake doing anything just for the love of hip hop. I think it just got to make sense. It got to make money. It got to, I don't think he at that mindset right now, man. I feel like J. Cole is more of that hip hop, hey man, I ain't got no problems with nobody, but I'm the king here. I feel like I could see J. Cole doing that. So I would probably say J. Cole.
I think Drake, man. I was thinking J. Cole at first, but now that I think about it, the pressure is really more on Drake right now. And not just the Kendrick, even though Kendrick was really getting at Drake with that whole verse. There was blatant shots at Drake in particular, but the future thing is something he has to address, man. because that's one of his closest friends. At least we thought. They did projects together, did a whole lot of songs together, and now you got him, two of your enemies, making a whole album, pretty much dissing you throughout.
Yeah.
He's got to say something, man. And yeah, I don't know what his battle plan is going to be, but I know he's emotional. I know these things get to him. He's going to say something first, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's got to cook something up. He's got to have 40 working overtime, man, in the engineering boot room, cooking something up. But yeah, I think he's going to respond first, just because, his feelings are probably hurt, man. I gotta be real. I think he's hurt by Future going this far to diss him in public.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see, man.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a hot summer, like Cameron once said.
Yeah, man.
See how things go. What a career turnaround Cameron has had, man. That was like the lowest point of Cameron's career, where he was standing in some shorts in the middle of that little tiny ass apartment pool, talking about it's gonna be a hot summer when he's gonna diss Jay-Z.
Yeah.
What a career turnaround he's had, man.
Yeah, people probably forgot he was a rapper, man.
Probably.
He slowly but surely washing that away, where it's gonna be more. He kind of gonna have kind of the Joe Budden career.
Yep.
People just look at him as a media person and don't even know he rapped.
Yep. After the verses, I'm sure he just wants people to forget he rapped, period. Because I haven't forgotten that yet. Yeah. It's gonna take a whole lot more pause moments and some funny moments for me to get that, man. You gotta work overtime for that. But so yeah, we'll see how things go, man. Like I said, rap is exciting again. We've got real beef cooking, and hopefully it actually goes somewhere this time, because look, they're getting up there in age. I don't think they're gonna be making a whole lot of albums in the future. So
yeah,
we need this resolved, man. We got a 2024. We got to have this beef resolved. We got to have it. Everybody say their piece and then move on.
We need to see who's the best of all time, man. Who's the greatest of this
generation? Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully we get something of it, man.
Yeah.
Now, next up, we did say, if you listen to our last podcast, that the Freaknik documentary on Hulu was coming out, and we said we both watch it. No, so I actually had to resubscribe to Hulu because I canceled it. I had to resubscribe. I had to pay $17.99 plus tax. I got it without the fucking ads, man.
I got it $17.99. Oh my goodness,
it's ridiculous, man. Because I refuse to watch shit with ads on it, man. And it's like $8 if you get the ads, but I just hate ads. So I'm like, I'll pay $20 for 1 month and just cancel it. Man. But yeah, it's rough. These streaming services are ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
So I bit the bullet for all y'all, for the content, man, for the content. And they have the damn. I shouldn't have said we're gonna watch the damn Black Twitter documentary too, man. I think that's next month. That's 2 months of this bullshit I gotta pay for.
I think that's in May. I think it's like May.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I can cancel it next month then, so I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did watch the Freaknik documentary. I think it was executive produced by Uncle Luke, 21 Savage, and somebody else. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting. Figgy, let me get your thoughts first, man, because I know we both watched this. What were your thoughts on the Hulu Freaknik documentary?
So I was actually impressed, man, because I was going the way, because remember when it was announced and people was joking around on social media like, oh, somebody mama about to get exposed and somebody grandmother and all that stuff. So I thought it was going to be like the Wild Wild West, where you just see all type of wild stuff in it. But it was actually educational, man. I thought it was a good watch for somebody that had no clue what that was. And I felt like it kind of taught me something. So I liked it a lot, but a couple thoughts I had on it, and I was just kind of jotting stuff down as I was watching it. And the first thing got jotted down, and I know he EP'd it because I seen the credit eventually, I'm like, why is 21 Savage in this, man? Like, was he even around during this time? Like, I know he was in, I know he moved to Atlanta at a young age, but I'm like, was he even around at that time, man? He ain't giving nothing. Yeah, I'm like, he ain't giving nothing to this. Like, what else is he giving to this documentary outside of just Atlanta, talking about Atlanta? But afterwards, I was fine with it. I felt like it was right to have somebody. First of all, he was EP part of it, but I thought it was cool to have somebody that wasn't around during that time that was just talking about, I guess, what he heard and all that stuff. But the other thing I jotted down was I ain't know the Freaknik was black how it was, how it started back in the early 80s, late 70s or something like that, and how it was pretty much more towards like black colleges and black excellence type of stuff. I had no idea. The only thing I knew about Freaknik was women showing breasts and all this other stuff and going buck wild. But I had no idea it was like a positive type of thing. So that made me think, like, where did they get Freaknik from, man? Like, how was like, if I told my parents I was going to Freaknik, they would say hell no. They wouldn't even ask me what is this. They would say hell no because it sound awful. But the way they came up with Freaknik, I thought it was kind of cool, man. I thought it was cool. I felt like it was sending a good message, showing how black folks can put on like nice events and get together and stuff like that. I thought it was cool. But my other thought was, why is Jalen Rose in this doc? Like, why did they put him in this doc? But after a while, I'm like, all right, he has some type. He at least went there before.
Yeah, he went there, so he has something to say about it. But I had the same reaction. I was like, come on, man.
I'm like, are you just want at this point? I'm like, are y'all just trying to find anybody famous to be in it? I would have been perfectly fine with no celebrities in this, unless they were part of it somehow. But I felt about that with I think her name is Rashida or whatever. I just know her from being on Love and Hip Hop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, all right, you just talking about how Atlanta is. That's
yeah.
all.
She kind of. I was confused because she wasn't actually there ever, was she?
I don't think so.
Because she was talking like she was there, man, and that kind of bothered me because she looked way too young to actually be attending Freaknik back when it was popping.
Yeah, I don't think she was there, man. I don't think so. But maybe she was. I don't know. But it seemed like she wasn't really giving nothing. It seemed like she wasn't sitting there saying, like, I remember a time when I was there and the first time I went down there, or it seemed like she didn't really give us those type of stories.
She's 47 years old, so she might have actually been.
Probably was. Okay, yeah, she probably was.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. But
47, man. Damn, I knock it down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But another thing I jotted down was Uncle Luke is the reason why Freaknik got real freaky. It seemed like once he got a part of it, man, it seemed like that's when it really went downhill. And I could tell. So at the beginning of the dot too, they show the original people that came up with Freaknik. And at first I'm thinking like, man, this corny stuff. What is they doing? Oh, this is the first time we've seen each other in 45 years. And I'm just like, all right, man. Like, nobody. I'm trying to see some ass. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this grandmother. But I know they had to feel kind of bad. I wonder how they feel about it as far as like them starting this and then what it became afterwards. It's kind of like, to me, this kind of remind me of Don Cornelius, how he started Soul Train pretty much. How it started and then how it eventually ended in the 90s, where it wasn't the same how it was back in the 70s. And you could tell Don didn't give a damn at that point. I think I forgot what rapper was performing on there, but he pretty much talking shit about the rapper. And I'm just like, man, he clearly out the game. He don't care about this new game. But I wonder how they felt about that, man, because it eventually got real dangerous where they had to shut it down. But that was something else I jotted down. But one more thing, I jotted down, and I feel bad about this, but I did not know the term Daisy Dukes came from Dukes of Hazzard.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Oh, wow.
Because of course I knew what Daisy Dukes were, shorts, and
Mhm.
then Luke had the Daisy Duke song and all that, but I had no clue that's where it originally started from. Dukes of Hazards. I had no idea, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but overall, man, I thought it was a good doc. It wasn't too, because I was nervous. I wanted to see a little something, but I ain't wanted to look just ridiculous where it was just like no type of I guess no type of structure, no type of lane, or they just showing random clips and all this other stuff. The way it started was real cool, where it was like, all right, this is how it used to be, and colleges used to get together. We used to meet here for a picnic and cookout. And I like how it started and how it ended, where it was just like, man, this is where it started getting off the chain. So I came away and I actually learned something from it. So I I thought it was cool, and a couple other things that I liked about the dot was, or the things I didn't know about it, was how important it played in hip hop. As far as like a lot of Atlanta rappers and Atlanta music down there, I ain't know they wasn't getting no play on the radio. Obviously, I wasn't in the South, but I didn't know radio stations was playing a lot of New York music like that, and it in the Freaknik kind of helped push people like Outkast and Jermaine Dupri, how he had a big start in it and all that stuff, where they actually start playing more Atlanta music. So that part I didn't realize. I ain't know that. So I was kind of impressed with that. I thought that was kind of dope. But overall, I thought it was a good documentary, man. I would highly recommend somebody who don't know anything about Freaknik to check it out.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was good too, man. I thought it was very respectful. After seeing the opening credits and seeing who was involved in it, I was like, okay, this is not going to be what we thought it was going to be, man. We didn't think it was not going to be just showcasing the degenerate side of Freaknik, man. And the way it starts off, a whole lot of gassing up Atlanta, calling it the black. They used the Killer Mike line or the Ti line. That's right. Ti said that this Wakanda.
Yeah.
He called Atlanta Wakanda for black people, of course. And it's like, okay, Atlanta this, Atlanta that. All right. Y'all sound like New Yorkers talking about New York. But all right. So a whole lot of that. But yeah, I did not know of the humble beginnings of Freaknik. I think in general, freak just meant something different. I think they kind of touched on the documentary. I think freak in the 70s kind of changed definition into freak in the 80s and 90s. I don't think freak really meant like what we see freak as now. So maybe it was just a different connotation, but
yeah,
I was surprised by the fact that it was just kind of like 15, 20 people just getting together and have a picnic in a park.
Yeah, and they brought up how the group Chick had that song "La Freak."
Yeah,
how that played a big part in it too.
Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting to get the history lesson on the whole thing. There was I didn't like Mark Lamont Hill in the documentary, man. I just don't like this guy, period. Like, I understand these things got to have that one smarty Negro to explain things in the professionals, but it always has to be him, man. Why always Mark Lamont Hill? Is everybody else busy? Is he the only one with the free time to do all this stuff? Because it's always him. I don't like him, man. He gets on my nerves.
He got to be doing this for free then.
I hope. Oh, maybe. He just has a low asking price because he just wants to be involved in things and seen in things. But I just don't like him, man. Once I saw him, and he's in this documentary a whole lot.
Yeah,
he's always explaining something in a goofy, scholarly way, like these women are exploring their sexuality. And I'm like, God, they're shaking ass on camera. They're exploring their sexual agency. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm sick of Mark Lamont Hill trying to over-explain everything, man. I just don't want to hear it. So, yeah, I didn't like him in the documentary, but everybody else, Uncle Luke, Lil Jon, and I think it might be a little disingenuous to bring Lil Jon in there because I don't think Lil Jon was ever at Freaknik. He was probably in a library or something and at that point.
Yeah, he was definitely in
He was never at Freaknik.
suburb. He was definitely in what's the suburb in Atlanta? Buckhead or
Something like that. Is he even from? Let me look up.
yeah, he wasn't in Bankhead.
I thought he might have moved to Atlanta. I guess he's from there actually. But yeah, he was born in Atlanta. Never mind. I'm tripping. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't think Lil Jon was ever at Freaknik.
Yeah.
But having Uncle Luke there explain how he kind of brought that whole freakiness to there, and it made sense. He said 94 was the most lit year because that's when everybody came down and it was just crazy, but it was still fun and not dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part was good. Other things I thought about the documentary. I like the fact that it wasn't too long. It was kind of just it was kind of short and sweet, man. It didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
And the thing people were scared about, people were, when people first saw the trailer, they were like, okay, this is gonna portray black men as rapists, and they're gonna put it's gonna be a whole lot of black men, anti-patriarchy type things. And it really wasn't that at all, man.
Nah, I ain't get that from all. I ain't get that at all, man. Maybe at the very end when some of the bad stuff started happening, but I felt like the documentary portrayed what it was in the beginning, and at the end that's when other people start coming in for that event, and that's something else. I wouldn't put the blame on black folks over that.
Yeah, and they made that distinction too. They were like, yeah, some stuff happened, but then this stuff happens at Daytona Beach and all these other places, and it's not a big deal. But since this was a majority black event, it was a bigger deal there. But they did a good job of explaining that, yeah, some people did come there and ruin it. It wasn't everybody. Most people just came there looking for a good time.
Yeah.
I don't think they even said the word rape until like there was 10 minutes left in the documentary, man. They interviewed one of the victims of a sexual assault at that I think it was like in 98, one of the last years before it just shut down completely. And she gave her account and told her story, but it wasn't portrayed in a black men are evil type situation. It was just it was a crazy situation where
she just ran across a bad person, or it was just a bad
group of people, and it was just and they made the distinction that it was a lot of out-of-towner and old people who were coming in just to get some, because that's what Freaknik was known for. That's what I knew it for. I never knew it was like a real legit thing for college kids to just have fun. I thought it was just people trying to get some ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I didn't know it only lasted until 98 too. I thought it would last longer than that. But I think 98 was the last year before they shut it down. That kind of surprised me too. And I like how they shit on all the efforts to bring it back. Everybody was like, don't bring it back. You can't. These new kids are on their social media and on their phones. Yeah, they really shouldn't try to bring back Freaknik. I know nostalgia is in, but it's never going to be the same, man.
Yeah. That kind of had me thinking too, because I agree. I think I'm on the band. I mean, I'm on the bandwagon. Don't bring anything back like that. But it had me thinking, like, dang, like it'd never be anything like that again, man. I'm trying to think of something that's close to it, but I don't think it'd ever be anything like that, because even some of the wild videos I saw on Instagram, like parties and stuff that was in Houston, where they was kind of going buck wild, man, everybody had their doggone phone out. So you seen everything, man. It's just like, man, I don't think it ever be that cool again.
Nah, it can't be recreated, man. It's impossible. But that's honestly my favorite thing about the documentary was seeing the footage. Just seeing people in the 90s for something like, dog, I'm addicted to like old 90s stuff. Just watching people. Sometimes I'll get on YouTube and watch people go through a Sears or a Funko Land or some old store in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because we forget how things were back then, man. Even though we grew up at that time, we just forget. And sometimes there's this Twitch channel called Daily Simpsons that airs, I think, at every Thursday at 7. It airs like a episode of The Simpsons as it originally aired on TV with the commercials and everything. And I watched that. And I'm like, damn, I forgot how these commercials were, man. It was crazy looking back at it, how the world was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my favorite part is just looking at old footage of people in the 90s, how they dressed, how they acted, no phones. Like, how did they live their life, man? We can't even imagine that at this point.
Yeah.
No big ass computers that you had to sit down on. And it's just, the way the cars looked, the price of the food. I always look at the price of the food and gas.
Yeah, me too,
Like, damn, that gas was that cheap.
Yeah.
I think they still complained about it.
Yeah. The other thing I looked at too was I was on the same page as you. I was looking at all the way they dressed and all that. But the other thing I was looking at was how they actually went out of town to go to Freaknik, and the way these girls had barely no makeup on. I was looking at their hairstyle. It was just like so natural, man. And somebody, I forgot who it was. I think it was Rashida. She made a point to say that, look, girls got the curves. These ain't no BBLs. This is the real deal. And I'm like, damn. Like, just like that girl right there really got a butt, man. This ain't, I know back then you wasn't looking like, is that fake or, oh, she got her body done. No, that was real, man. Everybody was genuine. Everybody was real, not too much makeup. And I ain't got a problem with makeup, but just back then, how they were willing to go kick it with barely just a little bit of eyeliner on or something. It wasn't caked up or anything like that. Everybody's just natural beauty, man. And I'm just like, damn. And then the other thing, this is a little nerdy too, but just looking at their teeth. I'm a big fan looking at teeth. I feel like now everybody got veneers. So everybody got a freaking perfect smile now. But back then, you had like girls that had like the perfect smile, but not like perfect teeth, if that makes sense. Where it was just like, man, everything was just so real and natural. And now it just seemed like everybody looked like a fake doll, man. And it was, I enjoyed that part too, man. I kind of wish, I know I was born in 88, but I kind of wish I was born later where I could experience the 90s a little bit.
Yeah, me too, man. Like sometimes I don't know which era I want to live in more, the 80s or the 90s, like be an adult in or be a teenager in. I kind of want to go back to the 80s more just because my favorite music came out at that time. And I want to hear like when Thriller first came out, when Purple Rain, like how do people react when this music first hit, man? Because I can't imagine it at this point. But I want to know how they reacted when this stuff first hit, man, because it was just, you can't even imagine hearing something that mind-blowing now. You know, there's good music that comes out now, but it's nothing like Thriller. You know, it's nothing that shifts the whole culture. So yeah, I'll probably want to go to the 80s first and the 90s next, because just to be an adult at that time and just, I don't know, everybody just looked a lot more happy at that time, man. I know it's cameras capturing a party, so of course everybody's gonna look like they're having a good time, but it's just the vibe of everything is just so different, man.
Yeah, and
it looked fun.
Yeah, and even whenever I talk to my pops about that, his by the way, happy birthday, Dad. Today's
birthday, Papa Figgy.
Yeah, but he always tell me how fun the 70s was. Like he like, man, everybody just having a good time and peace and all this other stuff. He don't really care for the 80s that much, because he like, yeah, that's when that crack came in. And,
fair enough.
And people started killing each other and that rap music. But yeah, like even during that time, even the 80s and 90s, it seemed like people were still having a good time, man. Like I know 90s, rap music was at a violent time where, the lyrics and all that stuff. But it seemed like people, even looking at people like my sister and all that stuff, seemed like they were still going out having a good time, man. It was like some cool ass hairdos and the fashion and all that stuff. It seemed like everybody was still just going out having fun. And now I don't know. I guess the 2000s was like that too, to a certain extent, because
Everything shifted after 9/11, man. After 9/11, everything was different in America, at least.
yeah, no, I agree with that. But at least to me, I feel like the big change where it's like, man, ain't nobody really having that much fun. I think the phones, the actual recording phones, kind of screwed everything up, because even in like the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, we still had fun. We still had them house parties, and people were walking around with actual cameras trying to get pictures and stuff like that. We had cell phones during that time, but you couldn't record how you record now, and it was no social media like that. So whenever you go to a party, you are actually dancing and having a good time. You wasn't on your phone scrolling. So the only thing we used our phone for was to get somebody's number or try to take a a, a high or a low quality picture. But it seemed like once we start getting these like iPhones and stuff where you can actually you got social media and stuff like that, it just sucked the fun out of it, man. When was the last time you seen somebody in the club and everybody was like dancing, having a blast?
Not
Now,
in a long time, man.
now you only see people in their section dancing, like girls dancing with another girl and recording it, and then 5 minutes later they sit down scrolling. So like I miss those. I look at those videos like the Nelly video when everybody in that basement sweating and all that stuff. Now I've never been to a party like that. I don't think that party exists. I think that was just the video, but I be thinking about stuff like that, and I don't think that ever happened again, man.
Nah, because everybody too cool for stuff like that. I think social media has a part of it, but I think in general we're just way more cynical. I think it's more popular to be a hater at this point, to be somebody who's like, "Oh, that's corny," you know. To hate on things, it's never been more popular to be a hater or be cynical than it is right now. Remember, if you were a hater back in the 90s, you were just considered a hater. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, people did hate on things, but you were kind of a weirdo if you called everything corny and you didn't dance and you were an outcast if you didn't dance or do anything like that, man. I know that because I didn't dance. Okay. You were an outcast, you were a weirdo if you
yeah,
didn't enjoy any of those things. Now that's the normal for everybody, is to not enjoy those things and to call all that stuff corny. And now we look back at times where people just had fun and didn't care how they looked on camera because there were no cameras really. And
yeah,
now it's like, wow, they actually were having fun. We can't even imagine ourselves doing that anymore, man, because we're too cool for that. We act like we're too cool for that.
yeah,
Nobody wants to be embarrassed on social media. Like, look at this idiot. Look at this. Look what he got on. Look how he dressing. Like, nobody wants to be that guy. So nobody even takes those risks and is willing to just let loose and have fun anymore. Everybody is cynical. Everybody's just dead inside, and it's depressing, man.
yeah.
What do you?
Speaking of way people hating and how people dress, did you see the OG that was
Yeah, I saw people hating on him, and or the people who were recording were talking like
yeah,
it was trash.
yeah. I was just like, man, that is some hating type stuff, man.
Said,
Yeah, I'm like, man, people are so corny, man. I was glad he was getting a lot of love though.
yeah,
I see a lot of people getting them look like, oh, fresh. Oh, no, oh, real fresh, for real. So I don't know. That's how people are now. That's a prime example of somebody just hating for no reason, man. Like, no, like he ain't bothered. I mean, I don't know the situation, but like, dog, I ain't look at him and be like, man, what do we got on? So that's just the way it is now, man.
yeah. It's embarrassing, man. Like, you can't do nothing on social media without people hating on you. You can't post your food and say, "Hey, I cooked this steak." Dog, you don't ever post your food if you have a big following. They gonna tear it apart for no reason. You know,
Yeah,
everybody's just a hater now, man. And I say this as somebody who's a self-described hater. It's
yeah,
too much hate for me, man. No matter what, people hate on it. Some black man wants kids to read. Oh, there must be something wrong with him. Let's chase him off the internet because he's weird. What the like? Everything got to be hated on, really? We can't have anything good in this world. Hey, we got a MMA fighter trying to build up black businesses by reviewing food and talking about the honest service he gets. And this guy's hating. Let's run off the internet. Everything got to be hated on at this point, man. There can be no good in the world anymore somehow.
Yeah.
Everything is hated on. I'm getting tired of it, man.
Yeah.
Even me, I've had my fill of just mindless hating for no reason.
Yeah, nah, it's corny, man. It's super corny.
It really is. We see on YouTube. What's going on, Jenny P? Mad Wine Chemist on YouTube. And Tab, what's going on, Tab? Good to see you here tonight, man.
What up?
Just having a good time. We're reminiscing about the 90s and how fun it was, during the Freaknik era when we saw all the footage of everybody just having fun and not worried about likes or whatever on social on IG, repost and all that.
That one little video, somebody with the video camera, that we'd be like, oh, he got a video camera. And just be having a good time, man.
And that's the crazy thing, man. Like, when you think about it, at most people had like one Polaroid camera. So they might pose for a picture or maybe 2 or 3, and that's it. That's all they had to remember from that time. They had that in their memories. Now we got people going to a concert, doing a roll IG live, recording every minute of their experience, walking to there, being there, going back home. Everything is chronicled. And it's like, that's no way to live, man.
Yeah.
They're literally living behind a screen at that point.
Yeah, it's hard to do, man. And somebody like me who try to record a lot of stuff too, I have to hire somebody to do that because I can't enjoy myself if I got my phone in my hand the whole time trying to get everything. I'm like, man, I'd rather just pay somebody who's there for me to record everything and I have a good time. And it's just, I don't know, man. I just can't see myself going somewhere and then trying to record everything too and have a good time. I'm just like, man, I'm gonna miss something. But sometimes it's just fun to just put the phone down and just have a good time, man.
Yeah, it's hard for some people. Some people just, they can't even imagine that in their head, not being on the phone, not getting the IG. It's all about, we're in the clout society now, man. It's all about clout. That's all that matters to people now.
Yeah.
Jenny P said the Kappa Beach party too. Yeah, I always hate that I could never go to the Kappa Beach party in Galveston. I did eventually go, but by the time I went, I was like, I want to say 6, 8, like I was 18, 19 when me and my cousins finally went, and it was already dead by then. That was like 2006, 2007 or something like that. And it was dead. I wish I could have gone when DJ Screw and the SUC were there and they were doing their legendary freestyles. And it was just, it was a lot more fun back then. By the time I went, it was already dead. So unfortunately, I couldn't go during the prime years. Sucked, but what can you do?
Yeah, I remember. What was the event in Myrtle Beach, the bike night or whatever that was? I forgot what it was called. It was something like bike night or something. I forgot exactly what it was called, but I want to say it was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I remember my sister, I was a little kid, but I remember my sister, she said Black Bike Week.
Black Bike Week, okay.
Yeah, and I remember my sister and her dude at the time was on the bike and they was going down there. I'm just like, dang, that just seems so cool. And she seemed so excited and all that stuff. I'm just like, man, like that. It seemed like that was like a must go to. And then it's like whenever they come back, you got to hear the whole story, how it was. It wasn't just, I just watch her Instagram and just see it for myself. It was like, dang, that was cool. I got to go next time. So you'll never get into that again.
Jenny P said she went and it was fun. Yeah, man. And that's one thing that we kind of lose too is the storytelling, because back then, if you weren't there for something, you had no proof. You just had to hear, and then people would over exaggerate things like it was the best thing ever. And you were like, oh, like you said about if you missed like an episode of SmackDown.
Yeah.
And your friends talk about it, they're like, oh man, it was the best one ever. Stone Cold did this. That's how it was when you missed things. But it actually felt like, when you did see it, you were being a part of something.
Yeah.
And now it's just if I miss something, I'll just get on YouTube or Instagram or I'll just see the videos of people who are there.
Yeah,
I miss a show, I'll just see the videos of that people uploaded.
yeah, and it's funny you said that because so I didn't go to the Bun B concert recently. I didn't get tickets for it. Felt like Isaiah Thomas, but yeah. So anyway, my wife was on Instagram and it was like two different people streaming the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
And so, first of all, shout out to Burns Barbecue. They were actually there streaming the whole show. So she watched the whole damn show from there. So I was kind of in and out of it too. I was just kind of looking, see how it looked. But I didn't care after that, man. I think if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be like, man, how was the show? And I'll be trying to get details, and I'm sure people be like, oh yeah, so and so came out and fireworks was here and explosions was there. Da, da, da. But I'm just like, oh, I seen it was on Instagram. So, oh well. it kind of sucked the fun out of it.
It does. And I was thinking because when I didn't know Biggie was at Freaknik, but there was footage in a documentary of Biggie performing at Freaknik. And I'm sure like it was bad footage. It was like way in the back with some old camcorder. The audio was messed up. And I'm sure it wasn't the whole set recorded. It was probably just a little bit.
Yeah, you can't record set with those video cameras.
So I'm sure the people who were there, who are still alive, were like, man, now is the most lit. It was Biggie. He came out and did all these songs. But if we just had somebody in the front row with a cell phone record the whole thing, we'd probably be like, man, that wasn't that great.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be like, yeah. It didn't look all that great.
Yeah, but just hearing the old stories, like, man, Biggie was there and then he brung out Puff. And so made, him and Tupac performed together. It's just like, oh man, like I wish I could have seen that. and that's where, how we used to be back in the day, how we used to have to visualize and paint a picture of how it all looked. We couldn't just YouTube it and see the whole performance.
Yeah.
Those was the days, man.
It really was, man. But speaking of the rodeo, did you actually see the Drake performance part?
I didn't. I didn't see that part.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that part. Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know it happened already. So I'll go back and look. I wonder if it was long or if it was I don't know. Was it good? Did he do a good job?
A lot of people said it was good, but I'm kind of taking that with a grain of salt, man, because little side story. I thought I was getting tickets for it because this would be my third year in a row getting it. But I think I didn't get them because Drake ended up on
definitely.
Thing.
Yeah.
All the man. So it was a lot of different people in the suite, probably.
all the Becky's wanted to go all of a sudden, man.
I don't know.
They was too cluttered up. You had no chance, man.
Yeah. I'm guessing they was probably saving it more for the clients and stuff that wanted to go to see Drake and all that stuff. So I'm just like, all right, that was a good run. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it seemed like it was just more of a moment, like a small moment. I went there, I saw Drake there. I don't think it was anything like I don't think it was anything where you like, man, he came out with this and he did that. Shoot, somebody had the doggone playlist, the set list. So I was looking at the set list and everything was pretty accurate. So I heard it was cool. I think people just saying it was amazing because it was Drake. But outside of that, man, I think we talked about this before, the Yin Yang Twins. I heard they were the best part of the whole rodeo. I heard they actually tore the place down.
Damn.
Which was shocking because you had Nelly, you had Rick Ross, you had Eve, you had E40, Too Short, Bun B, obviously, Drake. I can't remember who else you had, but I was kind of blown away that Yin Yang Twins was the best part out of all that. And I no discredit to them, but I don't know. For some reason, I thought Nelly would be the one that's like, oh yeah, he did good because I think he's still out here performing too. But yeah, man, I ain't really hear nothing else about that. It just felt like it was a moment because a lot of the stuff I see on social media now, and people still posting about it, but it's posting like, "Hey, I was at the Drake concert." It seemed like it was like a badge of honor just being there. I don't really hear nobody talk about the show. I also seen a lot of people talking about how bad the audio was, which was expected, man. You got 10 different people performing, man. You ain't gonna get it right. And I don't know if everybody did sound check and all that stuff. So yeah, nah, it was cool, man.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not too surprised because out of everybody, I think the Yang Yang Twins have the most hype hits. And
Yeah,
if you have a limited time, I think they would kind of blow everybody out the water with their biggest hits, man. But I'm more surprised that they could still put on a good show. I know one of them was really sick. He was in a wheelchair for a while, so I think that's more surprising that they could actually still get out there and put on a great show.
yeah,
But set list wise, I'm not surprised they had the most hype moment because they had the most hype songs, man. They had a hell of a run. So
yeah. Let me see if I can find the set list because I was actually looking at it. I'm like, damn, that's pretty accurate. They really going by the list. So
Stone said he's digging the stacked versus side by side. Yeah, we're trying to mix it up, man. We're trying to do a vertical stream for YouTube Shorts.
yeah,
Mark Nash tried to put us on he says it helps with the algorithm and getting more views. So we're gonna check afterwards and see if he's full of cap or not.
yeah, yeah. I kind of like this look too, man. This look, I think it looked good on Instagram and all that stuff. We
Yeah,
straight on Instagram too. So
true.
yeah, I think just trying some stuff out, man. Seeing what works.
Looks good when you're on your cell phone, which I think what most people use when they watch us anyway. So yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. I can't find that playlist, but whatever.
It's all good. But yeah, I was wondering how that went, but yeah, I hate that you didn't get the tickets, man, but I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, as soon as Drake made that announcement, I kept checking my emails. I hit up a couple other people. Hey, did you get tickets? Yeah, I got tickets. A couple people got tickets. I ain't getting them. So I'm just like, damn.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, man. Once everybody girlfriend wanted to go suddenly when Drake announced. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, usually those the empty nights in the suite.
I bet they didn't know not one song either. They just want to say, tell all their friends they went to the Drake show. So
Yeah.
all right. Clout, man. I'm telling you, I'm sick of this clout generation, dog. But whatever. So Beyonce has gotten into a little more controversy on social media, apparently. She unveiled more details about her next upcoming album called Act 2.
Yeah, Cowboy Carter, Cowboy Carter,
Act 2, Cowboy Carter. People were upset that she unveiled album art with her waving the American flag because I don't know, everything Beyonce does got to be scrutinized at this point because people want her to be the super revolutionary Malcolm X type person or something, and I don't know if they realize she's just a pop star.
Yeah.
But she did apparently put out a statement about this upcoming album. She said, "Today marks the 10-day countdown until the release of Act 2. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the supporters of Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. I feel honored to be the first Black one with the #1 single on the Hot Country Songs chart. That would not have happened without the outpouring of support from each and every one of you. My hope is years from now, the mention of an artist's race as it relates to releasing genres of music will be irrelevant." Yeah, that's what MLK said too. I have a dream, Beyonce. This album has been over 5 years in the making. Interesting. Did the last album take like 5 weeks? That's interesting because I don't think she said anything about like this in her last album about it taking a long time to come out, but okay. It was born of an experience that I had years ago where I did not feel welcomed, and it was very clear that I wasn't. But because of that experience, I did a deeper dive into the history of country music and studied our rich musical archive. It feels good to see how music can unite so many people around the world while also amplifying the voices of some of the people who have dedicated so much of their lives educating our musical history. The criticisms I faced when I first entered this genre forced me to propel past the limitations that were put on me. Act two is a result of challenging myself and taking my time to blend genres together to create this body of work. I have a few surprises on the album, and I've collaborated with some brilliant artists who I deeply respect. I hope that you can hear my heart and soul and all the love and passion that I poured into every detail and every sound. I focused on this album as a continuation of Renaissance. I hope this music is an experience, creating another journey where you can close your eyes, start from the beginning, and never stop. This ain't a country album. This is a Beyonce album. This is Act 2, Cowboy Carter, and I'm proud to share it with y'all. Okay, so she says it's not a country album, so I don't want to hear any bitching about it not being on country charts, okay? She said it's not a country album, okay?
Yeah.
Spoon said more hyped for Beyonce or Post Malone. I mean, it would be funny if she had Post Malone on the album.
It wouldn't surprise me, man, because he kind of dipped in the little country too.
He put his whole he jumped into that pool, man. He's done with rap now.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, okay. Let's. What do you think the surprises on this album are going to be, Figgy? Take a wild guess.
I think it's definitely going to be a country legend. I don't know if it's going to be
feature.
There is. I think it's going to be. Maybe I might be cheating with this one because I heard rumors that she was remaking like a Dolly Parton. I think it might have been a Dolly Parton song or something like that, or she was going to cover a Dolly Parton song, remake it or something like that. So I can see Dolly Parton being on this album somehow. I don't know. I can't name any Dolly Parton songs right now. I probably recognize them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they remade a Dolly Parton song and had her on it too, because she kind of been doing that as of late too with some of her music. How she redid the Isley Brothers song, she did the Before I Let You Go and all that stuff. I can see her probably redoing something. But a lot of people were saying Taylor Swift. I don't see it right now. I don't see it right now. I know they took pictures together and all that stuff, but I don't see that. I'm trying to think of a country. What's the biggest country legend ever?
Not really a legend, but Tracy Chapman. I'm not a legend, but I mean not country, more like folk. But Tracy Chapman, could you see that happening?
I can see that. I can see that. I can see Tracy Chapman, and I feel like Tracy Chapman been kind of, I guess, living off of that Grammys performance, man. Yeah. Seemed like she been kind of out a little more, so I wouldn't be surprised if Beyonce hit her up. Yeah, yeah, that's all I got, man. I wouldn't think she had somebody like a Travis Scott on there or something. I feel like that kind of throw the vibe of the album off, but you never know, man.
Spoon said Garth Brooks, George Strait, Luke Combs. Now, maybe one of those. I don't think she could have like all three because look, man, people would be upset. They would be upset if there's too many of those types of country artists. They want to see more, I guess, blacker artists. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I want to get to something what she said in this post because clearly something happened in the past where she had to put this out. I thought this was kind of weird for her to put all of this out like this. And that second paragraph where she said she didn't feel welcome. I wonder if this came from the time. Remember, she performed with the I think it was the Dixie Chicks or something like that. Remember, I forgot what year that was. That might have been 2015, 26. I forgot what event that was, but um she got criticized for that for some. I don't know if it was the country music fans or what, but she got criticized for that. So I wonder if she talking about that because like, did she ever try to do anything country before? I don't remember her trying to do anything country before. And so I wonder if this is what she's talking about. And then obviously she released the 2 country songs recently. And you know, it was a lot of dialogue behind it. You know, there was a lot of people saying this is a country song, and some of them saying this ain't, and all this other stuff. So I wonder, is this the reason why she said this ain't a country album? I wonder if this is like a middle finger to, I guess, I don't want to say country music, but to the people that's running country music. I wonder if this is like a big middle finger to them.
I think it's more so she's trying to manage expectations. She doesn't want people, because I don't think this album will sound like a country album all the way through. I think she's going to mix it up. I think she's going to have some hits that are mainly focused on top 40 radio, you know? So I think she's just trying to manage expectations and not have people expect that it's going to be just a straight up country album. Plus the fact that that turns people off more than turns them on to the album. If you say I'm releasing a country album, that naturally, because a lot of people, especially people outside the South, do not like country music. So that would turn them off. So it might be just having people like, don't write it off because it's country in that sense. Yeah. It's a Beyonce album. She's trying to hype her fans up to be excited for it, I guess.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that kind of turned me off a little bit, because I'm like, if she said this is a full-blown country album, I don't know if I would have listened to it. And we got a podcast. I just don't look. I just think it's unfair for me and country music or country music fans for me to sit here and try to break down a country album, man. I don't know. That's not my number one genre. That's probably not number 4 or 5 for me. And I wasn't gonna listen to it if it was just straight up country.
Yeah, I only like country rap tunes because that's what UGK makes.
Yes.
These ain't no motherfucking hip hop records. Country rap tunes.
Yeah. I got another question too, because we ain't bring this up at all. I've been meaning to bring it up for a couple weeks, but do you feel like her announcing the date for this album was kind of do you seem like it was very soon?
Yes.
Now I'm wondering because Taylor Swift announced the date for her album at the Grammys when she won. And this was before Beyonce put anything out. I think Beyonce was gearing up for something because she had the hat on and all that stuff. But Beyonce didn't release a date for her album or artwork or anything like that, I don't think. And I was kind of curious. You think Beyonce kind of ducking Taylor Swift? Because because it was no date for Beyonce's album when Taylor dropped the date for her album. And, you know, the Swifties went in a frenzy when she announced that date and the name of her album. Do you think Beyonce tried to get out there first to kind of stay out of Taylor Swift way?
I mean, it would make sense.
Because it'd be difficult if Beyonce released the album after Taylor Swift. Because at that point, Taylor Swift might live in the top 2 or 3.
Well, everybody ducks everybody in music, man. Like, I think we saw something like 50 Cent and Kanye go head to head, and we think that's how it's always been or should be. But everybody ducks everybody because everybody wants to have their own run at number one. And yeah, so I don't know if she said, I'm sure somebody on a label or team said it was a calculated thing. They know, people in the higher ups in music, they know when everything is coming out. That's the thing. They know things we don't. They know release dates that we don't know. So I'm sure they have a schedule of things that are going to release, and they know, okay, Taylor's dropping this week. Let's drop this week. I don't think it was a sudden decision where they were like, oh, she's dropping, so let's drop earlier. I mean, it could be. I don't know. But I think the higher ups know when things are dropping, and they schedule these big albums accordingly.
Yeah, I wonder did they really know if when Taylor is going to drop when she announced that day, if they already knew it already. Because like I said, it'd be one. I mean, I feel like if they knew that, Beyonce probably would have dropped the artwork and date before that. But it seemed like Beyonce dropped the date out of nowhere. Where I'm like, damn, I wasn't even prepared for that. It seemed like she kind of dragged it on last time she dropped the album, and this time it just kind of came out of nowhere. Where I'm like, damn, she dropping the end of March. Like,
when
damn,
is Taylor dropping? Is it soon?
She dropping in April, I want to say.
Oh.
Yeah, she dropping in April. So I'm like, damn. Because like I said, I don't know if Beyonce planned on dropping during this time. Maybe she was planning on that. But to me, it seemed like it just came out of nowhere and it came fast.
To be fair, this is somebody who's dropped before with no announcement.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put rhyme or reason to Beyonce's strategy at this point, because she didn't support her last album at all. No visuals, no nothing. And then this one kind of comes out of like, I don't know what they're doing, man. She's the one who dropped with no notice. Nobody knew it was coming. Videos, everything for the self-titled album, and that changed the whole industry. So I don't know what she's doing, man. I'm sure they have some type of rhyme or reason, but I can't tell you what it is.
It just seemed like everything is rushing now because, like I said, Taylor dropped the date, and then I want to say shortly after that we had the Super Bowl, and then Beyonce had the commercial saying, a song about to drop after or something like that. So it seemed like everything just going fast. So the songs dropped, and then I want to say not that long ago, a date for the album dropped. I'm like, damn. It just seemed like she trying to get out the way of Taylor, man. She trying to get that number one. She trying to get some number one spots before Taylor, because once Taylor dropped, that's it, man. And with Beyonce being Beyonce, you really don't see her moving out the way like that. Maybe she do move out the way. Maybe they do have these dates set up where, hey, I stay out your way, you stay out my way. But I'm wondering if Taylor maybe threw everything off where it was like, hey, we plan on dropping this summer. So, let's drop right now because the Taylor thing gonna throw it all off. It just seemed weird, man. Especially, I know Beyonce dropped without anything, but it just seemed like everything is kind of being rushed now.
Like, I mean, like I said, she's been rushing for a long time now. So I don't know if this is any different. If it was anybody else, if Taylor Swift moved like this, I would think it was weird. For Beyonce, she's been moving weird for years now, man. So I can't tell if it's deliberate or if it's just people reacting to things. It might be a mix of both.
Yeah.
But I can't make rhyme or reason what she's been doing for the last few albums, period.
Yeah, and it's not like it'd be one thing if she did a surprise drop. And it's just like, okay, she don't give a damn. Like, I would get that. But it seemed like right after that Taylor announcement, then you start getting more Beyonce promotion, man. Where I'm like, she just trying to get out the way and just get her number one hit. So, she get, it seemed like she trying to get out the way. And I get it. I would try to get out the way too. I ain't trying to get in nobody's way. I'm trying to get my number one too. But it's just funny seeing if this is the case, it's funny seeing Beyonce doing this, man. Because I would think Beyonce would kind of stand tall, but that might not be a good look.
Wait a minute. So I want to get your full hot take, Figgy. Since you going all in on this take, so I'm gonna put your feet to the fire. You gotta clip this and send it to the Beehive, man, because I want to know. Are you saying on today, March 22nd, that Beyonce is scared of Taylor Swift, so she is avoiding dropping anywhere near the time Taylor Swift drops her album.
I think Beyonce is making a business decision, man.
So you're saying she's scared?
I think she's making a business decision, man. I think look, man, I think it's gonna be tough for anybody, not just Beyonce, but anybody to get a number one hit when Taylor drop. I think everybody know that. We've seen a lot of people step to the side when Taylor dropped, and Taylor dropped the old ass album, man. And that went number one. So I wonder, I didn't think Beyonce was in that category too. I thought people stepped to the side for Beyonce, but clearly I thought Beyonce would be that one that, hey, I ain't stepping to the side for nobody. When I drop, I drop. I don't care who around. So I wonder if she ducking the smoke a little bit, man. I wonder if it'd be a bad look if she if she would have dropped after Taylor. I don't think they was gonna drop at the same time, but I wonder. So if Taylor, when is Taylor dropping? I think Taylor dropping. I want to say early, maybe middle of April. Taylor, I think she's dropping. I want to say, God dog it.
It comes out April 19th.
April 19th, yeah. So I'm wondering if Beyonce would have dropped maybe, let's say in June. I'll give her a full 2 months after. If she would have dropped in June, I feel like Taylor, I don't know nothing about this album and anything, but I feel like it would still be a possibility that Taylor album could still be floating in that number 1, number 3 range. And that could kind of mess something up.
Okay, so let's be very clear on what you're saying. You're saying that Beyonce probably planned to release this album later, but then she realized that Taylor Swift was dropping, who is a bigger artist than her. So now Beyonce, being scared of not getting a number 1 hit while Taylor Swift's album is out, is moving her album up just to avoid competing with Taylor Swift.
Yep, I think so, man.
I mean, I thought Beyonce was the next Michael Jackson. I thought she was the biggest artist on earth. What happened? She ain't as big as Taylor Swift anymore?
I don't know. I think Taylor Swift
got to be scared of somebody now?
I don't know, man. I feel like she rushed.
Got to bob and weave and duck and dodge? What's going on?
Hey, I thought she stood tall on her own, man. I ain't think she ever ducked anybody. But this just seemed like it's ducking. It seemed like it's ducking Taylor, man. I'm sorry. She ain't say anything about it. I mean, people was talking about, oh, she could drop a country album, as rumors and all this other stuff. Soon as Taylor dropped that date, man, she dropped that date and dropped the name of her album. I feel like I started seeing way more Beyonce promotion. And Beyonce dropped a date before April 19th. Seemed like she just trying to step out the way, man. And I respect it.
Look, you could be right, man. I'm just feeding the fire because this is your hot take, so I'm letting you have it, man. I want the Beehive to see this and I want their thoughts on it because the way they gassed Beyonce up, I thought she was bigger. You know, I heard excuses for why Beyonce's album didn't gross as much as Taylor Swift's. They said, well, she didn't have as many dates. Oh, she didn't do 2 times. She didn't tour as long. I heard the movie wasn't as big because I don't know, some other reasons they made up. They both had concert movies come out and Taylor's was way bigger, but there was some excuse for that too. So
the other thing I heard was Taylor's white. That's why a bigger audience. So I'm just like, all right, man. Like, if that's the excuses, let's just admit that Taylor is bigger then. Yeah. And I think at this point, and we talked about this on the podcast before, I do right now, right in this moment, I do think she's bigger. I do think Taylor is bigger, man. I think what she's doing as far as these tours is incredible and unheard of. And for somebody like her to re-release an album she already did before to just so she can get all the profit from it because the other one she didn't own and still do numbers? That's incredible, man. I don't know. Like, do you think Beyonce can re-release, let's say, her album B-Day, and you think she can get do Taylor numbers on that?
She gonna have to get the 60-year-old Jay-Z redo his verse for "Crazy in Love." It wouldn't sound like Kendrick doing "Bad Blood" again.
Look, man, like I gotta get credit to Taylor Swift, man. I think right now what she's doing, as far as numbers and all that stuff, I think you just can't overlook that, man. I'm not comparing the music and legacy and all that stuff, but right now, as far as like numbers, tours, album sales, and all that stuff, man, I don't know nobody that's doing better than her.
Well, Figgy, just say you hate black women and go.
Oh man.
Just say you hate black women, all right? Obviously, you just don't like Beyonce because she's a black woman, all right?
Now you about to have people search my Twitter. It's a white woman.
No, I get what you're saying, man. I think it's obvious who's the bigger artist. I'm just poking fun because there's a lot of delusion and cap going on because it's playing these things. And I don't think it really matters who's bigger and who's not, honestly. Yeah. Anybody who worries about that kind of thing needs a job.
Yeah.
Spoon said he didn't realize he was subscribed on YouTube. Yes, thank you, man. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell when we go live. Comment on the YouTube. That helps too, I heard. Do all that stuff you're supposed to do that I hear other people say that you're supposed to do. Please. Yeah. Austin said, talk about the Texans. I mean, what is there to talk about, man? So,
Austin, who is Austin?
Is he 6'10" Austin or somebody else?
No, I think it's somebody else.
Look like he knows you, man. He said, come on now, Big. Talk about the Texans.
Hey, man, if you're a loophole and you listen to 6'10" all day, why the hell do you want to hear me talk about the Texans now, man? You've been listening to 6 to 6. No, I'm just playing. I mean, ain't nothing really else going on with the Texans. Free agency kind of slowed up a little bit. We're just waiting on the draft.
Yeah, man, it's not a whole lot. So this is one of my favorite. I used to really like doing this with during Paul's show this time of year because we could talk about whatever and have fun. It didn't always have to be the NFL and Texans because the slow news time it's bad for people who just care about sports. But for me, I was like, hey, let's cook something fun, man. Let's talk about something special. So
yeah,
I liked it, but. Yeah, I know people are junkies. You speaking of junkies, what's going on with Shohei Ohtani, man? Have you heard this story?
Yeah, man. Look like the MLB is launching an investigation, man. This look wild, man. Look like he might have a little Pete Rose going on.
Apparently, man. For people who haven't read the story or know about it, Shohei Ohtani fired his interpreter after there was a federal investigation for a bookie, and they found out that Shohei Ohtani did a wire transfer for $4.5 million to this organization. Apparently his interpreter did this, and his interpreter fell on his sword and said he was trying to pay back some gambling debt. And he made a statement. He said Shohei Ohtani gave him the money to help him out. And then after he made this statement, Shohei Ohtani's people said, none of this is true. He actually stole the money from us and we fired him. So everybody, of course, the conspiracy theories are cooking. And I don't think it's a wild conspiracy theory to say that Shohei Ohtani was deep in gambling debt and had his interpreter take the fall for it. So yeah, man, I don't know. Now, part of me figures that the MLB is not going to dig too deep because this is one of their biggest stars.
This is a superstar, man. Yeah,
he really is, man. And they really can't afford to have him go down. This can't be. Look, they can't have a steroid era type thing. They can't have that come back, man.
Hey, the gambling is the prize picks and all that, FanDuel, all that shit. That's the new steroid era, man. All these players betting on games.
Yeah.
That's the steroid era. But obviously, this one's a little more deeper. If you spending all this money on betting, you ain't doing this on the damn app.
Yeah. Now I don't know what he was doing, man, but yeah, it's also the fact that this is illegal in California still. So it's all types of shit he's in right now, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. And this dude was one of my favorite players too, man. I like seeing him play. And yeah, I would never have thought that you just never know, man. You never know. And I don't even think there's no legal gambling in Japan, which is really crazy. I guess he got over here and was just like, wow, you can just win money. Because gambling is illegal in Japan, man. So I'm really surprised that he came over here and just went off the deep end if that happened.
Yeah.
So,
the thing I'm kind of curious is, so if, like, it's one thing to be gambling, but are you gambling on yourself? Are you getting are they putting bets in on the not the A's, but the Angels? Because the Angels were pretty bad last year, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, screw it. Like, we ain't gonna win nothing. This person ain't playing, so let me put money on this game. So I wonder if that was the case. If that is, then we do have a Pete Rose thing. But it seemed like they clearly trying to throw this interpreter under the bus at this point. So I don't know what's gonna happen. But the MLB, they investigating now. And if they were smart, they would probably just sweep it under the rug and bury this interpreter and just keep it moving, man, because you don't want to dig too much.
Brad is saying Spoon is saying he didn't reportedly he did not bet on baseball. Yeah, I didn't think he did either. I thought it might have been just he went crazy in Vegas, man. I don't know what happened, but apparently they're saying he didn't bet on baseball. Maybe it was just some other sport. I don't know, but yeah, this gambling thing, I feel like until something really big happens where somebody is just like it has potential to knock a whole sport over. This gambling shit's getting worse and worse, man. I just saw something where in the league pass for NBA is having a DraftKings thing on their app. So you can watch the game and have the DraftKings thing on the side and place bets while the game is going on, while you're watching the game. I'm like, man, eventually this is going to fall. Something really bad is going to happen. The sport's going to get compromised in some way, and it's going to be a big scandal, and they're going to peel this back.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what could that be, because there's so much money coming in from it, and it's really disgusting to see how the attitude is just switched from we don't want gambling involved with any sports to, hey, it's the DraftKings Super Bowl coming to you. So
and then
I don't know what's going to happen, man, but it's getting crazy.
And then it's tricky too, because it's like they encourage, they're some of the biggest sponsors in the sport. And then they saying, hey, if a player do anything like this, they're banned for a year. And it's so tricky because a lot of people do it. It's so fun to do. A lot of people do it. And including players, I'm sure players do it. They probably do it in other sports and all that stuff. But it gets super tricky, man. It's like, where do you draw the line? How do you make it fair? I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know the right way to fix this or how to make it, I guess, perfect for everyone where it makes sense. It just seemed like either way it goes, somebody gonna get over somehow. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tricky, man.
Yeah, I just think that there has to be like a gambling 9/11 where something really bad happens, because people bring up how the UK and Europe, England, they have like they have very strict gambling rules. surrounding soccer and all that, where you can't place bets during certain times of the day. You can't place bets like when the game is going on or something like that. They really scaled it back because it became a nationwide problem for them over there, man. And I
Yeah,
think it's
and
got to get to a part where it's just it's wiping people out completely, and it's a real problem for people to actually wake up and see this is dangerous.
yeah, and then they take soccer and over there serious, man.
Yeah.
So I can see, if somebody have a bad game or something like that, man, they probably be ready to kill one of these players, man.
I mean, it's happened.
Yeah,
Not in Europe, but in Spain, I think in some countries, the players have been killed.
yeah, some of them drug dealers who
Yeah.
pissed off, man, they be ready to kill somebody, man.
So, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what happened with Shohei Ohtani, man. That's one of the least of all the athletes to be embroiled in this kind of scandal. That's like the most surprising one to me.
And that's the last one you won't want in this scandal, man. Like, put anybody else. Put somebody from the damn Astros in the scandal. Yeah, I think the MLB will feel better about that. But with Shohei, the chosen one, the one that just got this contract, that's playing for the Dodgers out of all people, man, that was the last thing they wanted.
Can you imagine? Because I really wanted. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I wanted Shohei Ohtani to come to the Houston. Can you imagine if he came to Houston and this happened?
Oh man.
Like, we just got over the cheating scandal, and then we have the gambling scandal in Houston.
Yeah, and
that was insane.
Do you feel like they being kind of soft on this? And I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but I feel like they being a little soft on this. But if it was the player on the Astros,
oh yeah,
they would have been bringing up trash cans, or they cheated before, so this don't surprise me, and they need to be strict with the suspensions. It would have been all of that stuff, man. I felt like people tiptoeing around it a little bit.
I mean, there's a few things. Number one, it's like the Giannis effect. Whenever like there's some video of Giannis being mean to some people on the sidelines when he's trying to take their ladder down, when he's trying to get shots up or whatever. But there's an effect with him where it's like, he just doesn't know how it is over here. He's from Greece. He doesn't really know English. He doesn't know this. And he's so nice. He's always nice to us in the interviews. That's what Shohei Ohtani has going for him too, man. He's just a nice Japanese man who came over here to play baseball. Okay, he doesn't know about all these laws and stuff. So they just let him do whatever, man. Like, he just doesn't know what's going on here, man. So yeah, they are, but that's what happens with foreign players, man. They're not treated the same as American-born players who know what's illegal and what's not. So he has that going for him too. So I would not be surprised if the MLB treats this with kid gloves, unless it's something super serious that they find out. But it's just, I see them accepting the theft story. I'm sure this guy will just fall on the store completely. He will say that it was all him. So
yeah, they probably, I don't know if they're going to shove him some money and tell him shut the hell up and get away forever or what. But yeah, nah, he's finished, man. They're going to bury this dude.
Spoon got jokes. He said, I said Mookie bets, not more bets. Yeah, man. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just he's just Japanese guy, So
real quick, speaking of baseball, man, did you see this interview with Sammy Sosa?
Nah.
So Sammy Sosa got interviewed by, I guess it was a local Fox station in Chicago. And he so apparently, I guess he been talking with the Cubs, or I guess trying to repair the relationship or something like that. But hey man, I heard this question. This question had me dying, man. I want you to hear this.
Is it time for you and Tom Ricketts to sit down to get back into their good graces?
Well, like I say, I'm a mature man. I think that it's a possibility that we can do that. I'm open. I don't have a problem with that. I have, like I said, I have a lot of misunderstanding in the past, but now I'm a real man. I feel great, so I recognize my mistake. So hey, why not?
Are you telling me that you recognize the fact that maybe you did do steroids?
Um, this, like I say, this is um that I expected from you.
Is it time for you?
Why he throw a curveball like that, man?
Man, that's so like, how long are y'all gonna keep barking up this damn tree, man? Like, y'all really think after all this time, you just gonna be like, "Yep, I did it." That's
Oh my
annoying.
man.
Sidebar: it is completely disturbing how Sammy Sosa just bleached his skin
So
completely.
light skin now.
That's insane, man. It looks terrible.
It looks rough, man.
He looks awful. He looks like a one of those vampires from like a 1950s movie or something, man. He looks terrible. I don't know why he did that.
I just remember being a kid and just thinking about Sammy Sosa. I felt like Sammy Sosa was black. I always looked at because he was dark skinned. And I ain't really know nothing about, Cubans or Hispanics and stuff like that. But like between Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, I was always root for Sammy Sosa. But now, man, I don't know, his skin just a little rough, man.
Yeah. Spoon said baseball should thank Mark and Sammy. Yeah, and Barry Bonds. And fucking bring the steroid era back, man. I never cared about that.
Hey, that was the best era, man. That was must-watch TV to see if he get this home run. I don't care what nobody said. Last year, I think was it last year when or 2 years ago, Aaron Judge broke that record?
2 years ago, yeah, I think.
Dog, I did not care about that, man. They tried to make it like must-watch TV. I remember sitting there watching Barry Bonds, hoping he get. I think it was 73 or something like that. I remember them days. I remember the Mark McGuire days and all that stuff. It is not that now.
Yeah, nah, man. I say bring back the steroid era, man. It was more fun back then. But yeah, I'm surprised. It's always these old ass reporters who be asking these questions too, man, because they're the ones who are still upset about it.
Yeah,
they're the ones who keep people out of a Hall of Fame just because of the steroids. It's them, the old people.
He probably one of them. He probably like, yeah, I'm not voting for Sammy. I'm keeping him out.
Yep. Yeah, for sure, man. I'm getting sick of it. Did you watch that new LeBron podcast? With JJ Redick?
No, I ain't see that.
He has a new podcast where he's talking like strictly basketball stuff with JJ Redick. I listened to some of it. I thought it was insanely boring. I thought it was very boring, man. I don't know. Look, people always say they want this kind of content. Like, I don't want the hot takes. I don't want the drama. Why don't people talk about basketball the way they talk about football? Because it's just not as interesting to talk about basketball like that, man. Okay. When there's only so many plays in football, so it's more interesting to know what goes on. And how many possessions are there in basketball, man? Like a million in the game. So it's just not as fun to hear somebody talk about that type of stuff. And that's what that podcast was, man. I heard like some of it with JJ Redick trying to explain some things. I'm like, this is not my job, man. I don't care to that level to know what's going on in the court.
And this is no disrespect to LeBron, but it's only a certain amount of people I would like to just hear talk about basketball on the podcast, man. One of them is I really enjoy listening to Kobe Bryant talk X's and O's. And I ain't even that type of guy. I don't care about all that stuff. I'm all about the entertainment. That ain't entertaining to me, talking about plays and the man here. And so you come to me, I enjoy what Kobe Bryant did it. And I would probably like to hear Michael Jordan talk about it just because he's the greatest of all time. I would like to hear him, like his thought of, how he ran this play or, back in the Bull days and stuff like that. But I think JJ Redick was one of the people that was talking smack about it. How, I forgot what it was. I think he did some type of interview that went crazy. I forgot he was talking about something and the numbers went up, but he was like, yeah, it's funny how, you guys like the negative stuff because my YouTube numbers went up here, But then when I'm talking about basketball, don't nobody say anything about it's like don't nobody want to hear about that. Don't nobody want to hear about that, man. We like entertainment, we like drama. We hate to say it, we like just I guess stuff that's messy. We like messy stuff. So like nobody want to sit there and hear about X's and O's, man.
Yeah, JJ, I mean, I think his podcast is pretty good. He's had some stuff where he talks about like his financial situation, what he did when he first got money and he came in the league and stuff like that. He's had like it's good to watching clips too when he talks about why this and this player is great. And it is kind of a welcome break from all the hot takes. But JJ acts like he has no idea why that type of stuff is popular. You know, he thinks that people really are just geniuses who really want to know everything about basketball. And it's just not that. When he's on First Take, he really brings down the room sometimes because they'll ask a question and he'll be like, why are we talking about this? You know, I really hate when somebody just brings it up. Like, if you don't have anything to say, I'd rather you not say anything than just, why are we talking about this? I hate why are we talking about this guy? I hate that guy. Because if you don't want to talk about it, then don't talk about it. Don't ask why people are talking about something they think is interesting.
Yeah.
You know? I hate when he acts like he just, he's a little pretentious. I'll say that much.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I see it all the time on the text line here at 610 where let's say we're talking about the Chiefs and Travis Kelce. And of course, when you talk about Travis Kelce, you got to bring up who, Taylor Swift. And don't nobody want to sit there and talk about that all the time, but that's news. That's part of the story, man. They keep showing her on TV at the games. That's part of the story. And you always get somebody, who cares? Why y'all talking about it? Like, it's part of the damn story, man. Like, you think we want to sit there and talk about? We don't even know any Taylor Swift songs like that to just be sitting up there talking about her. Like, that's part of the story. Like, a lot of people, like, I just hate the whole who cares. Just because you don't care, don't mean everybody else don't care, man. Like, it's a lot of stuff I don't care about. But I ain't about to sit there. I ain't sitting there watching First Take saying, who care about the Cowboys or who care about the Lakers? Like, clearly somebody cares because they keep favoring these people that do care. Like, what I'm going to do is just tune out of it, man. I ain't going to be a part of it. I just hate dog, we got a job to do, man. As media people, as people do podcasts and create content, they got jobs to do. So if it's something you don't care about, don't be a part of it. Don't talk about it. It's a lot of stuff we don't talk about on this show. And, because quite frankly, we don't really care about it, but we ain't I ain't going to bring something up and you be like, I don't care. Like, why are we talking about this? Like, sometimes we got to talk about stuff because that's what's happening at this point. But I hate people that do that, man.
No, I do too. I hate the who cares because people don't understand. You can say it about anything. Who cares can extend to anything. No matter what you want to talk about, there's going to be somebody who don't care about it. Yeah. Let's talk about these used to be the inside joke we used to say, let's talk about the O-line. Why aren't y'all talking about the O-line? That years ago, whenever we had a topic, they'd be like, why aren't you guys talking about the O-line?
Yeah,
like y'all want to see or hear breakdowns of the offensive line of the NFL team. Let's be real. Y'all want to hear drama too, okay? Don't act like you're better and above entertaining things that people like to see when they listen to media or consume media. But I do hate the who cares guy because that can extend to anything. If somebody talks about the Texans' potential quarterbacks, who cares? You know, you can say about anything, man. Who cares? Let's talk about these head coaches. Who cares?
Yeah,
you can say who cares to anything you talk about.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is sometimes on the show we get off on a tangent where we'd be talking about anything. We'd be talking about a worst date or something like that. We talk about random stuff, and somebody attacks it would be like maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute, and somebody, let's get back to talking sports, fellas. Like, all right, we wasn't talking sports at all today. So as soon as we dip off in something else, hey, guy, I thought this was a sports station. Like, all right, man. Like, dog, like to me, and that's exactly why I never really listen to sports talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because some places do stick to sports and they don't talk about nothing else outside of sports. Dog, I will fall asleep on that shit, man. Like, man, I can't. Like, sometimes dip off into something else, man. We sitting there talking about the worst, Landry's worst date, and we was just having fun with that. Where we just talk about stuff that's in life, just life hacks and stuff like that. And as soon as we get into that, man, somebody be like, "I thought this was a sports station. I know this was TMZ or some shit." Can you guys get back to sports? It's just like, all right, let's talk about the O-line.
Spoon said, social media has made society I'm the star of the world syndrome. They feel their needs are the most important. Yeah. They think that just because you're a listener, everything we talk about should cater to you. You know?
Yeah.
And that's part of the issue. I mean, I like the audience interaction parts of these shows. When producing a sports, when you have a lot of listeners and they all have different ideas or views on what you should talk about, that's when it really gets annoying, man. That's what really turns people against their own audience.
Yeah.
Because, you think you can do it better? What should I talk about then? How about you tell me? How about you get some constructive criticism instead of just saying, I don't care about this or who cares or whatever? How about you say something like, well, what do you think about this? Ask a question.
Yeah.
And we can get back on track to whatever. But you're just hating at that point, saying who cares?
Yeah.
What does that bring to the table?
Yeah. Or
Spoon said, break down why John Weeks is a successful long snapper. Yeah, let's break down the long snap. And Kine needs field goals and see how the angles he takes. How about that? That's exciting sports talk, right?
Yeah. Nah, they always do. Let's get back to sports. Like, man, like, all right, man. That's I don't know. And then sometimes you have people that's like, this segment sucks. And then when you comment back, be like, you suck. Like, you talk to all your listeners like this? Like, no, I'm talking to you. Like, how you going? That's the one thing I hate, man. Like, how you gonna come at somebody disrespectful? And then when you bring that same energy, then it's like, you talk to all your listeners like this, huh? Like, no, I'm not talking to all my listeners. I'm talking to you. Like, how you gonna come at somebody disrespectful and then play victim when somebody give you that same energy?
One thing I've noticed is a lot of people, I think they think they're just talking into the void. So when they do get responded to, they kind of back down. Like, I'm just playing, man. I'm just joking. I love the show. Keep it going. They always say that. Like, yeah. I'm just busting your balls, man. I love the show. Like, okay, man. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Great way to show it.
Yeah. They do something like, why you all in your feelings? Like, I'm not all I'm responding to you. Like, I'm just responding. So it's crazy. All the people, let's get back to sports, fellas. I thought this was a sports station. Like, all right.
Yeah, we should change sports. You know how we should put sports entertainment. How about that? Like World Wrestling, change the world wrestling entertainment instead of federation.
Yeah,
we should put entertainment, because really, when people talk about different things like that, they're trying to entertain you, man. It's not like we're just doing it for the sake of just talking. We're trying to think of ways to entertain the audience, especially during a slow sports news cycle.
Yeah.
There's only so much you could talk about anything that's going on during a slow week.
Yeah.
And you're trying to cook up things that entertain the audience and gets them engaged. And we're thinking about y'all, and y'all over here hating on us.
Yeah.
Not y'all people who watch this podcast. I'm sure y'all are fine. But everybody else.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize, like, this is the other thing that kind of pissed me off too. People just think they could just come in and do this. it's a lot of work, man. It's a reason why I'm not doing this, man. It's a reason why I'm not trying to fill in and be a sports host, man. Because think about it, you gotta like this is a big company, so this ain't like a podcast like this where we could just go on tangents and cuss and do all this other stuff. But you gotta make sure you entertain. You got to be informative. You got to enlighten. You got to do all of this stuff within like 12 to 13 minutes. And you got to, it's going to be times where it's not a lot going on and you got to be creative. You got to repurpose some stuff. And you got to think about the audience because a lot of people complain when there is, oh, y'all talked about this before. Y'all already talking. Why y'all keep talking about this? You gotta, it's games you gotta play because at 10 o'clock is a different audience at 12 o'clock. So some of the big stories you might say at 10 o'clock, you can't just go away from the damn story. If it's a big story, you gotta recap it at 12 o'clock for people that's getting in the car, going to lunch. And it's just so much stuff you got to do, man. There's some interviews you got to have on there, man. Like, remember before, you got to have John McClain on at this time. So you got to, bring up how he felt about the win or the loss. So it's just so much stuff you got to do, man. It's not just turning on a microphone and just talking about whatever you want to talk about. And then not to mention if the station you work for is the home of whoever, the Texans or the Astros or something like that, you gotta cater towards that relationship, man. So you probably got to talk a little more Astros. You got to talk a little more Texans, and it's just so much you got to do, man. That's why I don't think I could ever do it, man. Because
I'll personally get bored, man. I can't be stuck. I like sports, but I can't talk about it for 4 hours a day every day. I can't do it. I would lose interest. Yeah. I would Dante Hall it.
Close the laptop and start wrapping it up.
Yeah, man, I'll just have to go.
I do the same thing, man. That's why I never wanted to get in sports talk, man. I just felt like I can't talk for 4 hours about sports, man. I can talk about rap for 4 hours. I can talk about a lot of stuff for entertainment. But just sports on a corporate level where you got to break down some of these players you're not familiar with. You got to cover the draft, all this stuff. I can't do it. And it's not like doing a podcast. Podcast, you can do whatever you want. But an actual show, man, it's a lot of rules and regulation you got to, think about, man. And like I said, it's not just like, earlier we talked about the Metro Boomin and Future album. Just imagine we got to talk about it at the 12 o'clock hour again to, in case people didn't hear the 10 o'clock out. It's just so much thinking into it, man. And people that do podcasts think they could just jump on the radio show and do it, man. It's a lot of work, man. It's not as easy as you think, man. People just think, oh, you just cut on the mic. Man, it's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the people on TikTok who do skits think they could be stand-up comedians, and some of them try it and they fail, and they're like, "What happened?" It's a different skill set, man. So I got respect for everybody who does this full time, and anybody at the station, and everybody who's able to make a living out of it, because it's tough, man. People don't really see that side of it. They just think it's, and to an extent, if you really love sports, it is a great job to have. And it does sometimes will not feel like work, but it is work, man. And you do have to, and it's also a job where you can get fired any minute too. So you got to keep that in mind. So
on a corporate level, you got to think a little more. It's not just doing a podcast and just talk as long as you want and upload it. On a corporate level, man, you got to make sure you get there on time. You got to prepare. You working with somebody else that you probably don't know all that well, and hell, you might not even like them like that. But y'all got to create a dynamic and disagreements and all that stuff. You got to know when to bail out of a conversation because I think our podcast, we had too long conversations sometimes. And, you know, in sports talk, you got to have it for like a good 5-6 minutes and maybe 10 minutes. And you got to know when to bail, man. You got to know when to move on. So it's just little stuff like that, man. It's not as easy as you think on a corporate level.
Yeah. Spoon said he got laid off. Yeah, man, it's tough when that happens, man. Especially trying to get another job. And then sometimes you got to go to a market with a team that you're not even familiar with. Now suddenly you got to be an expert on that team. You got to know all about their history.
You got to be an expert and low-key a fan.
Yeah.
So just imagine you getting a job somewhere else. Let's say Cleveland. You get a job talking sports in Cleveland. So now you got to be a Browns fan. You got to be a Deshaun Watson fan. You got to support Deshaun Watson, man. Like, that got to be tough. That got to be.
I don't see it like, that's why I give credit to like somebody like a Paul Gallant who grew up in Boston, had to move down to Houston for the radio job. I'm sure he didn't know nothing about the Texans or the Astros, man. And this is way before the World Series. So the Astros were extra irrelevant nationwide. So you got to immerse yourself in the completely foreign cities, you know, culture and sports history. Then you got to do it again if you get let go and got to go somewhere else. So
yeah,
big ups to everybody who can do it, but it's a rough life, man. It ain't all flowers and all that. So
yeah,
that's our weekly venting here. We got to get this stuff off our chest sometimes, y'all. All right, it's been a lot of y'all throughout the years riling us up on the text line. We got to get our views out, but it ain't as simple as you might think it is. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
So, did anything else happen this week, man? Anything we're missing? I'm looking on the timeline just in case something happened that I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, man.
Somebody tagged me in the video. Jack Easterby at a NCAA game. It looked like he was
really.
Yeah, I think it was Texas A&M. He was hugging.
What is he doing now?
I have no idea, man. I have no clue.
You should go back to that preaching stand-up comedy thing he was doing.
Oh yeah.
It was it was interesting.
Yeah. What about when I was in New York? New York.
Who was that black? I don't know who dug that stuff up. I don't even know where they got it from, man. But that was so funny.
What's up, kid? Oh my goodness.
Adam said, I'm a fairly new. What's up, Adam? He's on X, Twitter. He said, I'm a fairly new listener. Do y'all do these every Friday, once a week? Yeah, we do it every Friday around like 7:30-ish in general. We go live. Sometimes we're not because we got things to do and we can't make it. But for the most part, we do every Friday around 7:30. So make sure y'all check in if you have the time. And, you know, of course, if you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, comment, and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Yeah, right. Wherever it is on the screen, man. Make sure you hit right there, right here somewhere. I don't know, but make sure you do it. HRW on Twitch says, what do y'all think of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields with the Steelers? Yeah,
I think
I was surprised that Justin Fields wanted to go to Pittsburgh because apparently they let him. He had his pick of where he wanted to go, and they let him go there. I mean, he had to know he's not going to be even in contention for starting in Pittsburgh. So maybe he just wants to learn from Russell. I don't know. Maybe he wants to be mentored.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That kind of makes sense. I would see take a year off or something like that. See what Russell do. But man, I think Pittsburgh gonna be good this year, man.
I think so too.
Look, that got me nervous, man. Just and this the other thing too, man. Pittsburgh, they got that for some reason, man. Just being Pittsburgh, they get all the sweet deals. Like the dude Patrick Queen got a sweet little deal, man. I thought he was gonna get more money. This dude signed a very team friendly deal to go to Pittsburgh, and that wouldn't have happened anywhere else. And like I said, Russell Wilson, he got bought out of his contract. I think not bought out, but Denver's still paying him a boatload of money, so he signed with Pittsburgh for like $1 million. Justin Fields, he on a rookie deal. So I don't know. They scare me, man. I don't care what nobody say. They scared me.
Like, I mean, yeah, like how bad the quarterback play was last year, and they still made the playoffs somehow. Yeah, they're gonna be good this year, man.
Yeah.
Brad says Spoon says Patrick Queen was a big move. TJ Watt and Queen, yikes. Yeah, it's gonna be nasty, man. It's gonna be nasty. Do the Texans play Pittsburgh next year? I don't think so. I don't know who they play. I don't keep track of.
But they got a hard schedule because they won the division, so it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of nation. I don't even want to see the schedule, man. I know it's gonna be like just no overseas games, please. That's what I ask. Yeah. I've already accepted we're gonna have Monday and Thursday and Sunday probably, but just no overseas games, please. No London games.
Be on the lookout. They might have that Hall of Fame game, which would be earlier than usual. So
yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
July, man. or I think the game is I think it's July 31st. I want to say.
Okay.
Oh, you'll be
Have the Texans ever had the Hall of Fame game? I don't think so.
They never had nobody in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, wait. Oh, is that the criteria? You have to have somebody in the Hall of Fame to be it. Okay, I never even thought of that. I guess that makes sense though.
Yeah, and to be fair, other people had people in the Hall of Fame that same year too. Mm-hmm. But they picked it's two of the teams that have somebody in the Hall of Fame game. So like last year was the Browns and Jets. Joe Thomas for the Browns got in the Hall of Fame, and somebody from the Jets got in. So it's a big possibility the Texans could get in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if it'd be interesting. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it, but it's a nationwide game, man. It's earlier, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. Anything else, man? I think that might about wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this podcast up, y'all. I got to get something to eat at some point. So, yeah, appreciate all y'all who came through, man. Our first YouTube Shorts edition of the podcast. We got to check and see if our algorithm was improved by this mark. He tried to put us on game. I don't know, man. Our regulars didn't join until later, so maybe they didn't get the notification. I don't know. We got to look back and see if this actually helped.
Yeah,
but we do appreciate the assistance.
I do have a lot of people watching from my Twitter account too, because I'm looking at the numbers from my Twitter. There's a lot of people it's 159 people on my Twitter alone watching.
Damn, because you popping, man. You popping. You got the internet going nuts. But so shout out to everybody who joined the podcast today, man. Shout out to Spoon. Shout out to Mark Nash. Shout out to William on X. I saw him. Jenny P, the Mad Wine Chemist. HRW on Twitch. Everybody who joined in and commented, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And until next time,
peace.